Mic drop. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Big Mike Drop. I'm your host, Big Mike, and let me get my damn camera right. There we go, man. What's happening with y'all, man? Welcome to another episode, man. Look, let me get that punk, let me get that grunge up out you. So tonight, I'm proud to be an American. Of course, you could tell. We already got people in the chat, man. I appreciate y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed the little musical selection. That was our brother Beethoven's Seventh Symphony in Allegretto, if I'm not mistaken. One of my favorite pieces, man. One of my favorite pieces. So tonight, man, we're about to go in. We're about to have a educational episode. We're gonna have an educational episode tonight, and we're gonna talk about rock and roll. We're gonna talk about grunge and punk rock. Since we already talking about hip hop, we've pretty much, proven that we own that shit. So, there's really no further conversation to be had. Man, I got West Side Coolers in the building.
Check. What's up, y'all?
Man, what's up, man? What's up? Well,
Hey,
you can
looking.
shave over there, boy.
I did. Got a little shave on. Got to get a haircut next too. But how you doing there?
Man, I'm good, man. I'm good. Glad to have you on. Man. I'm proud to
Most
be an American, man.
All day, every day. All day, every day.
Let's give it up to America, man.
Yes, sir.
Give it up to America, man. I'm loving this new nationalistic, thread that's running through the community right now, man. I'm loving the energy, and we're gonna keep this shit going, man. We're gonna keep it going. So we already established that we got hip hop, had a little situation with some, other individuals that were involved in hip hop, early on, but they weren't the creators of hip hop. So we had to get them straight. The Puerto Ricans, y'all were just contributors to hip hop. There was really no creators. This is foundational Black American shit. You know what I'm saying? And tonight we FBAs tonight, man. I'm going with the term FBA, man. Shout out to Tariq Nasheed, man, and the whole movement that's going on right now. So, man, what's up with you, man?
Hey, I'm looking forward to this broadcast there. I see you with a Jimi Hendrix shirt on, all day, every day. America first, like I said here. America first. Jimi Hendrix, the inventor of rock and roll. And, he invented, and I don't care what none of y'all say, he invented the sound of having gain and distortion within your guitar there. With your guitar sound there. So again, we invented rock and roll, country, orchestral music, blues, whatever it may be, house and techno. So yeah, this is a swarthy indigenous culture.
Yes. And the reason that I brought up Beethoven was because Beethoven was described as swarthy, and to the point to where the Habsburg emperor that he was part of their court, he considered them to be Moors. He called them Moors. So, look, man, it's quite possible Ludwig von Beethoven was Black, and that's one of the, fathers of, music, period. I mean, I took a music appreciation class when I was taking history, man, and, music in the way that we know it and understand it is fairly new. It's fairly new. Music with words. First of all, it started out as just words. Then instruments were added, and then words were added back. So, that's, so music with words is fairly a new phenomenon.
That's right.
Yeah. So, we're going to get into a little bit of a history lesson tonight. I'm glad y'all are out there, man. I'm glad y'all joined us tonight. Look, if y'all really want to learn something, stick with us. Stick with us this whole time, because you're going to be able to put some shit together after this. And, next time somebody asks you what Black people have contributed to this culture, you'll be able to answer with a sense of pride and knowing that that's the truth. And it'll be no further conversation to be had unless somebody else has proof otherwise. We created this culture. We created this culture, period. We're the gatekeepers of this culture. We've let too many people come through. That's the problem. You don't understand your place. But since y'all want to start having these conversations and, y'all want to start throwing shots and, talking crazy in the public space about what Black people and about Black this and Black that, as if, you're so comfortable being able to sit back and talk about us as if nothing is going to happen, as far as your career is concerned or whatnot. You can't get canceled if you talk about, us. So, we're here to put an end to all of that shit. It's time to take control of our image. And ever since this hip hop conversation came up, I made it my personal mission. And thank you, Westside Cooley, for putting me up on a lot of this stuff, man. Literally, it was a day turnaround. I've been on this shit all night. And I think I'll be on a lot of it for life.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So if y'all out there, man, hit the like button, share, and subscribe. Hit the like button, share, and subscribe. Let's run these numbers up. I want to have a good show tonight. I got a lot of information for y'all tonight. And I'm going to try to keep the shots at a minimum. I'm going to try. But in case y'all want to see some messy shit, I did have to cook Modern Renaissance, man. Yesterday. I had to cook. I had to cook him. I had to cook him, man. I had been thinking about it for a while, man. And of course, I worked on it for a while. So, look, man, y'all get over there to my channel. Y'all check out the Agent Chronicles. That's what I call it. It's the Agent Chronicles. About Modern Renaissance, man. That's just to give you a little messy shit for the day. You know what I'm saying? Shots fired. But, he was so concerned about critical race theory and CRT, nigga. You need to stop them from teaching music appreciation. If you really want to, if you're really trying to stop what's going on here, if you're really trying to paint the narrative that we ain't shit and blah, 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 we just, some welfare recipients. I'm going to be honest, it's starting to look the other way around.
Right.
Starting to look like y'all all be eating off us.
Facts.
I don't know. Call me crazy. Maybe I look crazy. But y'all be eating off us. Man, let's get this shit popping, man. Let's get this shit popping, man.
Like you said, Big Mike, who is the real victim? Who is part or who established the real victim? Olympics. And you broke that down the other day. Very, very articulate there. I mean, you broke it down.
Well, thank you, brother. Thank you. And for those who don't know what he's talking about, I have a theory that when people bring up the victim Olympics, I really have a theory that everybody else that's here are here because they're victims, except for us. Y'all tried to paint a victim narrative, but really everybody else came because they ain't have shit. They were going through something. They had to flee. It was war. It was this. It was that. Most of you were refugees. And that's including the dominant society. Yeah, we about to get it. We about to get into some real shit tonight. We about to get into some real shit tonight on this Labor Day. Happy Labor Day to y'all, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, last day to wear your white and your seersucker and shit. I guess if they still go by those rules. Do they still go by those rules?
I would say yeah.
Yeah, I would say yeah as well. Better not wear no white shoes out.
Yeah, right.
Let me get into these notes, man. Look, man, first of all, so we talked about Beethoven, and you heard that selection, Beethoven's 7th Symphony, at the beginning of the show. And I let all 10 minutes of it rock on purpose. I let that rock on purpose, just so it's a beautiful piece. It's a beautiful piece. But the question has come up, and it's actually gotten some traction in the historical community because they claim they've done DNA testing and genealogy testing and whatnot about Beethoven's color, whether Beethoven was a Moor or a black. And, these people say that they traced it back to the 1400s and he was Flemish. But then there's also rumors that his mama was getting the freak on with the Moor dudes. So we'll see. Let's talk about it. So this is at Ludwig.com, ludwigvine.com. And this is a feature. Let me pull it up and let y'all see it. No, I don't want to join no email. Let me pull that screen up. Let's get it going. This thing has a lot of commercials flapping and shit, but it's all good. So this is Ludwig von Toronto.com. Feature. Was Beethoven black? Was Beethoven black? And this is by Anya Weisenberg on September 29th, 2020. Now, a lot of conversations came up about blackness in 2020, and that was part of my thesis for this show, is that having so much time to sit back and think and be to oneself in the past couple of years, and 2020, especially 2020 and 2021 for a lot of us. A lot of us, were pretty much in quarantine for 2 years. So having all of that time to yourself and not being gaslit every day by the education system. See, when you're a black kid in the education system, you're gaslit every day, especially when it comes to a history class. You got to understand that because you're going to hear things at home that's probably the truth, and you're going to take it to school, and your teacher's going to tell you it's a lie. So you're constantly being gaslit when it comes to history classes. So the kids in that system, collapsing in a way during that time period gave people a lot of time to start really digging and getting on this thing called the inner of nets, right? Getting on the internet and digging and finding information, man. So a lot of these things came up around the summer of 2020. So you'll see a lot of talking points. We didn't start hearing about Tulsa in the mainstream media until 2020. And that was almost the 100-year anniversary of that, right? Before it was something
Right.
they denied.
Right.
So, look, take some of this stuff seriously. But tonight, Beethoven gonna be black on this show. Just for all intents and purposes tonight, right? So this article says, was Beethoven black? The contention seems to come up in social media every few years, sparking debate and deeper questions about culture and race. The classical music world is celebrating Beethoven's 250th birthday throughout 2020, so it's perhaps not surprising that hashtag Beethoven would begin to trend in social media during the summer. As a theory, however, it turns out the idea has been bouncing around for more than a century. This isn't something that just got made up on the internet, right? The question itself may not be the most interesting part. A look at the evidence reveals a great deal about the intersections of culture and race in the Western world. So this guy, Samuel Coleridge Taylor, was a mixed race composer and conductor, well known in England in his day. In 1907, he wrote what is now cited as the first documentation of the theory that Beethoven was black. During the early to mid 20th century, black scholars were looking to reclaim their own history, including noted historian Dominique René Delerme, a scholar on the subject of classical composers of color. In the civil rights era of the 1960s, Malcolm X and Stokely Carmichael also claimed Beethoven as one of their own. Hadn't heard this before 2020 myself personally, but this has been floating around for over a century. Jamaican-American author and journalist Joel Augustus Rogers devoted much of his career to writing about the history of Africa and the African diaspora, particularly in America. His writing often challenged accepted theories about race and the African inferiority that were prevalent at the time. Sorry about that. Between 1941 and 1944, he published a 3-volume tome called Sex and Race. In it, he posited his conclusion that Beethoven was black. Hold on, give me 1 second. This damn chord is like right in the middle of what I'm trying to read. My fault. So we got some depictions and portraits of what appears to be a young Beethoven. That nigga like West Side Cool. Hey, man.
Cug got the purr to us on talking about, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Shit. Cuz look like West Side Coolick around this thing, man. What y'all niggas talking about, bro? What is y'all talking about? Man, we got Ja K in the building. Yeah, one love to you, family. One love. So it states that some of Beethoven's contemporaries noted the fact of his coloring was dark or swarthy. Prince Nicholas Esterhazy, I guess that's Prince Nicholas Esterhazy I of the infamous Habsburg royal family, is said to have called both Beethoven and Haydn, his court composer, Moors. To Europeans of the 18th century, a Moor might be someone who came from northern Africa or simply a person with a dark complexion, to add to the lack of clarity. The genealogical evidence of Beethoven's heritage goes back to the 14th century and firmly places his family as Flemish. Theories about the affair between Magdalena van Beethoven and a Spaniard of Moorish descent or other mixing of blood in the family persists. However, you already know that shit was going down.
Exactly.
Yeah. As a point of fact, Europe was not the bastion of Caucasian ethnic purity that many have since characterized it as. The Mediterranean was always a point of cross cultural contact and migration, and Black Africans were not as an unknown sight in the cities of Northern Europe from the mid 15th century on. The area of Flanders was at one time under the rule of Spain, which traded regularly with the Berber people of North Africa. This theory, however, is not based on genealogical studies of Beethoven's past, which are available to the public. Rather, it is based on the assumption that one of Beethoven's ancestors had a child out of wedlock. Note that the Beethoven Center at San Jose State University that say notes that. So here's the quote: "There's a way in which white people historically have constantly denied Black people any kind of association with genius." And we're witnessing that in real time, and that's why I'm deciding to start here, because everybody knows that this is probably one of the oldest forms of music and one of the oldest musicians and one of the greatest composers of all time, one of, the father of modern music.
Right.
So in 2015, a group with an unsubtle name, Beethoven Was African, released an album with the goal of proving that it was the master's music itself that proved his ethnicity. This theory posits that the composer's use of polyrhythms points to West Africa heritage. I'm sorry. That theory, however, assumes that it is not only musical talent, but a musical genre in some way that is inherited, or the unlikely possibility that Beethoven was somehow exposed to traditional West African music. In 2013, paper in his 2013 paper, Black Beethoven and the Racial Politics of Music History, Nicholas Reinhardt is unequivocal about both his view that Beethoven was definitely not Black and that the history of Western music is ripe for reimagining. This desperation, this need to paint Beethoven as Black against all historical likelihood is, I think, a profound signal that the time has finally come to make a single and robust effort to reshape the classical canon. So that's the hater. That's the guy that kind of, pushes back,
Right.
but offers no proof that Beethoven wasn't Black.
Right.
So where did these rumors come from?
Right.
I mean, why did they pick Beethoven? Why couldn't they pick any just random European and said this about? Also, Alexander Pushkin, from Russia, the Russian poet, had poems about his grandfather who was Ethiopian. So he was also a swarthy man. Alexander Dumas from France, author of the Three Musketeers. Go look at a picture of him. So some of these
Right.
literary greats and people like that were swarthy individuals. I'll say that. They were swarthy men. Let's see. What the question lays bare is how the music of some composers endures over centuries while others is lost into obscurity. Beethoven's friendship with violinist and composer George Bridgetower is another indisputable fact, and one that is often used to bolster the theory of his African origins. After all, why would Beethoven choose to be friends with a Black man in the 18th century Germany? So the theory goes, Bridgetower was an Afro-European, and while they eventually had a falling out, Beethoven made his original dedication of the Kreutzer Sonata to Bridgetower. So why? Bridgetower was not the only Afro-European composer and musician of the period. Joseph Boulogne, Chevalier de Saint Georges, was a composer. I don't even know if I said that right. Was a composer and champion fencer, famous in his day, 1745 to 1799. The United States was home to many more Black classical composers, including William Grant Still in his Afro-American Symphony. There is Florence Price, the first Black woman recognized as a symphonic composer. When the Chicago Symphony Orchestra played the world premiere of her Symphony No. 1 in E minor on June 15, 1933, It was the first time the work of an African-American woman had been played by a major orchestra. At that time, the Chicago Daily News wrote, it's a faultless work, a work that speaks in its own message with restraint and yet with passion, worthy of a place in the regular symphonic repertoire. Come on, man.
Going in.
They got receipts, bro.
Got them. Undeniable. Undeniable, y'all. And you know, Big Mike, the only thing I disagree is just the language, the Africanness, the Ethiopian thing, but also the term Ethiopia could be transferred to us too, because Ethiopia, even before it was called that country in the continent of Africa, was applied over here. So, we've traced the origins back to it also. But, I don't personally in my studies to believe that they were African. You have people that were actually from Europe that were Swarthy, that did not come from Africa at all. So that's where I see these people, Beethoven and all these guys like that. So,
hey man, Amber Alert said Mike has receipts longer than CVS tonight. Appreciate you. Nah, man, facts. I mean, look, you're talking facts. But here's what we have to look at when we're reading through these things, right? Is we have to look at everybody else's understanding of the language isn't what our understanding of the language is. So, we know who they're talking about. We know who they're talking about. And even though Beethoven wouldn't have been, he was a German dude or whatnot, was in Germany, he wouldn't have been one of us. But still, he was one of us, right?
Right.
Hell, I guess if Puerto Ricans could say they created hip hop, Beethoven could be one of us.
Right.
Rolling ink on that shit tonight. Rolling ink on that shit tonight.
Oh shit.
Yeah, man. Y'all go ahead and hit that like button, man. Like, subscribe, and share to the Big Mike Drop, man. We are just getting started. I'm not even going to go into these right here because this show isn't about classical music, but perhaps it's something we need to go back and check into.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's something we need to go back and check into. So I am going to start with a composer, and I actually went and got the licenses to these songs tonight. I'm going to play, except for the few. I'm still going to catch a copyright charge, probably on death, but we got to hear it. You know what I'm saying? We got to let the people sample it at least.
Mm-hmm.
So, hopefully YouTube doesn't go too crazy on me. That's why it's important y'all like this show and y'all share this show. Y'all go ahead and get as many people in the live right now as possible, because if they block this video, then, this will never be seen again.
As a matter of fact, I should have did. I'm gonna get the link to this here. I'm gonna go to Twitter, post it on all the popular people's pages, and see if we can get some more people up in here, because it needs to be 10,000 folks up in here, because Big Mike is dropping the drop.
Yeah, we dropping it tonight, man. Hey, man, before we get too far into it, man, I'm gonna make sure we got all the coons out the building. So let me go ahead and do my coon clearing thing on this quick commercial break. Remember how you felt when you introduced your female cousin to your mediocre white girlfriend? Or how about when you went out with your white coworkers to happy hour and ended up losing your job with harassment charges? Or even when you interviewed this nigga, knowing good and damn well you weren't gonna hire him because he looked like your baby daddy people, although he was qualified. We at the Big Mike Drop Labs would like to introduce you to Coonitin, a drug for coonish behavior. Doctors reported a 3.8% drop in platinum blonde dark-ass niggas last year alone. And Coonitin has a 75% effectivity rate in old-ass coon niggas. 9% of working-age coons self-reported exercising greater restraint from kissing white folks' asses, thus cutting down on the spread of pink eye in the office. If you're experiencing coonish symptoms, ask your doctor if Coonitin is right for you. Warning, Coonitin does have laxative properties, so don't use it if you're completely full of shit. Coonitin, because coons gotta live too. They might as well be medicated. Also from the makers of Coonitin, divestrogen, a medication for divestors who think no one notices the difference between the wig texture and the texture on the back of your neck. approved by Dr. Mammy. Patients over 60 are encouraged to receive their Cunitine booster shots every 6 months. Don't be miserable. Get your life back with Cunitine.
Possible side effects include, but are not limited to, headaches, nausea, constipation, diarrhea, blackouts, confusion, muscle spasms, increased ball size, in the case of women, actually believing you have balls, hallucination, paranoia, increased police presence. In extreme cases, you could become a real nigga.
The mic drop. Let's go.
Yes, sir.
I think we got him out of here. So I'm going to start today by playing a tune, very familiar tune that everybody knows. Everybody knows this tune. I got the license for it. So, I'm proud of myself. Your boy went the legal route. But we're going to talk about this particular tune. So let's go. Who knows the name of that tune? Put it in the comments. Name that tune. All right. The name of that tune was The Entertainer, and it was written by Scott Joplin. Brother Scott Joplin. One of the first black superstars, one of the first superstars in American history. Scott Joplin. I want to show y'all a picture of Mr. Joplin. That's Scott Joplin. Great composer. Father of ragtime. Ragtime is the father of jazz. But that technique that he used on that song, and let's listen to it one more time while we got his photo up. Just for those who let's go. Let's get it. So next time somebody asks you, what are y'all contributed to the United States of America? Tell them the entertainer, motherfucker.
Mm-hmm. Or what these damn immigrants say is we ain't got no culture. Like these Nathans and whoever else, these weird ass monkey face looking immigrants, say we ain't got no culture. So-called black culture is trash. And Big Mike is presenting part of our culture right here. So y'all just very ignorant and jealous and hateful and weird, and y'all don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Oh yeah, and I'm gonna keep going, man. So, so nobody really has to take my word for it. I got videos.
This video is sponsored by.
I got backup, and this is for teaching purposes. Okay, so this is gonna be a fair use video. But look, I'm not playing tonight. I'm not playing anymore. I don't care if y'all start jumping off of buildings because y'all realize that we created every damn thing and you just the image in our shadows.
Real talk.
You're living in the shadows. You know, we try to be nice. We try to let everybody have a piece. We try to let everybody, you know, we want to share. You know, we want to grow and kumbaya with everybody. And then y'all turn around and spit in our face and talk about us like we just pure D shit in public.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about inside business with outside people. Yeah, them days over with, man.
Yes, sir.
I'm your culture warrior.
That's right.
Go to skl.sh/polyphonic21.
So this is a Skillshare, and they're gonna go over this the incredible story of America's first pop star.
2 months free and start learning today. This might be one of the most recognizable piano lines of the 20th century. But it can mean any number of things to any number of people. It's from a song called The Entertainer by Scott Joplin. To some people, it could be a Western saloon. To others, a great caper. To some, an ice cream truck. And to many, a silent movie. But with all these different connections, much of The Entertainer's historical context is forgotten. And so what many people don't realize is that The Entertainer is one of the finest achievements by one of the greatest musicians in American history. People don't realize it's part of a tragic story of a visionary artist who died young and penniless and was buried in an unmarked grave. And many people don't realize just how this artist's work still influences the social and musical landscapes of America a century after his death. Let's take a closer look. Scott Joplin was known as the King of Ragtime. At the turn of the century, he might have been the biggest musician in America. His 1899 song, Maple Leaf Rag, is said to be the first piece of instrumental music to sell over 1 million copies in the composer's lifetime. Joplin ushered in an era of ragtime and helped start the first true popular music craze in American history. All this despite being black and born in the American South just 4 years after the end of the Civil War. So what exactly is ragtime? Well, to understand that, we should first look at the genre's predecessors. Before Joplin came along, one of the most popular songwriters in America was John Philip Sousa. Sousa was a military band leader who wrote marches for military bands to parade to. Perhaps his most famous is The Stars and Stripes Forever. Because these marches were made for people to walk to, they were usually in 2/4 or 4/4 time with clear notes played on the beat. But almost no ragtime music is played right on the beat. And that's because of another aspect of ragtime's influence, African folk music. African folk musics, like many folk musics, are built for dance, and playing music straight often just doesn't lend itself to dancing. So instead, these folk musics use a tool known as syncopation. Syncopation is putting stress on a beat that usually wouldn't be stressed, or missing beats where you'd expect stress. The result is something less predictable and something that makes you want to move. Syncopation is the foundation of all kinds of music to this day, and ragtime brought syncopation into American popular music. Just look at the sheet music of Maple Leaf Rag. You can actually see the syncopation there on the page. And that's what gives the song the off-kilter jive that makes you want to walk around like a silent movie star. Of course, there's one other big influence on ragtime, and I'm gonna warn you, things are about to get uncomfortable. One of ragtime's biggest influences was minstrel music. Yikes. Minstrelsy was a kind of performance that came about in the early 1800s in America. It was a supposedly comedic performance built around dressing white people up in blackface and playing out offensive stereotypes about black people. I told you things were going to get uncomfortable. And as much as I would like to just brush this over and pretend it never happened, the fact of the matter is that minstrelsy is an important, if dark, chapter in American history, and it helps you understand the world that Scott Joplin was brought up in. Minstrelsy wasn't all white, though. Many black artists got their start in minstrelsy, and one of the most famous dances of minstrel performance came from black communities, the cakewalk. Some speculate that the cakewalk had its origins as a satirization of white dances. Whether that's truly the case or not, the cakewalk quickly caught on in minstrel shows. It had a very specific rhythm associated with it, a 2/4 march with a syncopated polyrhythm inside. Of course, that very same concept helped define ragtime, and ragtime performers weren't shy about acknowledging this. Scott Joplin even wrote a cakewalk song called Swipesy. Now, it's important to note that though he loomed over the music, Joplin didn't invent ragtime. Some of the first ragtime songs were written by people who were themselves former minstrel performers, like Ernest Hogan, who wrote Pa Mala in 1896. And then there was Ben Harney, who wrote You've Been a Good Old Wagon, But You Done Broke Down, which some point to as the first ragtime song. But ragtime didn't really explode until Joplin came on the scene. In 1899, Joplin would publish 2 sheets that would change ragtime, the aforementioned Maple Leaf Rag and Original Rags. These songs codified ragtime and set a new blueprint for the style going forward. Both of them featured one of Joplin's signatures, frequent modulation. Music is built around tone centers, collections of notes that work well together. Modulation is what happens when you shift from one tonal center to another within the same song. Modulation became an important part of the structure of Joplin's rags. This structure consisted of 4 distinct sections following a pattern of A, A, B, B, A, C, C, D, D. Typically, the C section would see a clear modulation in the form of a key change. In the case of The Entertainer, the C section modulates to F major while the rest of the song is in C major. Another aspect of Joplin's music that helped it shine was the tempo. In your head, you might associate ragtime with fast piano playing, but Joplin was quite specific about one thing. Ragtime was not meant to be played fast. He even wrote "not fast" on the sheet of The Entertainer. And when you play The Entertainer at a slower tempo, you allow the song to tell a story. You allow it to build drama and tension as it speeds up slightly and changes keys and volumes. The Entertainer and Maple Leaf Rag became staples of the genre, and countless people would try to imitate the Maple Leaf Rag in the years to come. But Joplin wasn't simply satisfied with ruling over popular music. He wanted himself and all his fellow black musicians to be taken seriously as songwriters. And so he decided to write an opera, Tremonisha. Tremonisha mixed Joplin's ragtime sounds together with more traditional classical and opera music. You can hear the combination of these forms in the opera's finale, a real slow drag. More than just the music, though, Tremonisha told an important social message. Scott Joplin wanted to push civil rights forward and help advance the black cause in America, and to create a truly original black art form. So Tremonisha lays out a blueprint as to how to do that, through education. The titular character is a young freedwoman who uses education to lead her community against those that would exploit them. It's an incredibly forward-thinking story paired with some remarkable music, but Joplin would never see it live, not as he intended it anyways. Joplin couldn't find anyone willing to publish his radical opera and ended up trying to self-publish it in 1915. In the end, he was only able to put together a small staging of it in a Harlem rehearsal hall, and it really didn't live up to his grandiose idea of what it could have been. That marked the beginning of the end for the King of Ragtime. In the coming years, he would succumb to syphilis and dementia, and on April 1st, 1917, at the age of 48, Scott Joplin died in a psychiatric hospital. By this time, he was penniless, and he was buried in an unmarked grave. The ragtime era ended with the death of Scott Joplin, but its influence continued. A Jewish immigrant named Irving Berlin was an up-and-comer at the end of the ragtime era, and he scored his first hit with Alexander's Ragtime Band. Berlin would go on to become one of the most important figures in American popular music and Broadway, and he wrote classics that are still sung to this day. And then there were others who took ragtime in a different direction. Fats Waller evolved ragtime into a new kind of piano playing called stride. And alongside another graduate of the ragtime school, Jelly Roll Morton, Waller helped establish the norms for the next emerging form of popular music, a heavily syncopated music that would modulate through many tone centers, a new exciting style of music called jazz. and we all know where that went. But there's one more chapter in the story of Scott Joplin. In 1970, a musician and musicologist named Joshua Rifkin dug up Joplin's sheets and recorded himself playing them. He released those recordings as an album, Scott Joplin Piano Rags, and it started a ragtime revival. 3 years later, several Joplin songs, including The Entertainer, would be featured in George Roy Hill's Oscar-winning film The Sting. Scott Joplin was alive once more in the hearts of American pop culture. Amidst this resurgence, people dug up Treemonisha, which had been forgotten about after Joplin's death. And then in 1972, 61 years after it was written, Scott Joplin's opus saw its world premiere, performed by the Atlanta Symphony under Robert Shaw. It was immediately recognized as the masterpiece that it is, and in 1976, Joplin posthumously received a Pulitzer Prize for Treemonisha. The world was ready to embrace the late Joplin and celebrate the brilliant, forward-thinking artist that he was. And amidst all of this, after laying unmarked for half a century, Scott Joplin's grave finally received a marker in 1974. I don't know about you, but listening to all of this ragtime really made me want to dust off the old piano. If you want to teach yourself how to play the...
All right. All right. So just a little bit of information for y'all, man. A little bit of background. Accuracies in there as well. But it's something that you're gonna notice. It's a common theme that's gonna flow through this evening. And it's kind of sad, but you know, this is our reality, right?
Right.
A lot of these people died with no recognition.
Right.
They got no recognition, and they were pioneers in these forms, in these genres. We created genres.
That's right.
There were really no genres. Like you said, before him, it was John Philip Sousa, which was the military band. And I guess that, you know, I was going to talk about it a little bit later, but, you know, people think that drums were always for music, and drums were mainly for military movements.
Right. Wartime.
It was a weapon, pretty much. It was used to took away somebody's drum. The front of the line couldn't communicate with the back of the line. So the drums were used to pass orders. So music in this form of entertainment was a little bit different than what J.P. Sousa was doing. So I just had to add that. But what are some of your thoughts on it, brother? I know I've been talking a lot.
Nah, hey, I'm in class too. I'm listening. So I mean, I'm enjoying this. Like I said, I definitely had to be on this thing right here, Big Mike. Y'all need to be putting this out here. You know, and subscribe and like it and retweet it and retweet it and everything. But to answer your question, like you said, you know, with the drum, it was a war tone. He was talking about tones too within his documentary about our good brother here. And it's true. The drum is very important with many aspects in life, you know, whether it be an indigenous thing or war, or whatever. But that drum was very powerful. It's like those smoke signals and stuff like that.
Right.
All this stuff was from us. I mean, all this stuff was from us. Everything.
Right. So from ragtime, we get what they call jazz. And you know, they talked about the progression. And jazz was a very interesting music. And I think there's something that they put into this about Scott Joplin too that's very important, and it's a common theme through our music as well. And that is the social message that goes into the music. See, to this point in time, nobody was really disaffected with society more than us. So, you know, social messages came through gospel music. Social messages came through, you know, we playing piano, banjo. It didn't matter. Whatever music we created had an underlying social message to it. It may have been hidden, but it was an underlying message to it. And I think that was important that he did put that into the music. And he seems to be the first to do that, because up to that time, white people really had no reason to be upset with society.
Yeah, and I want to go back to the documentary just played here too. Also, I mean, I don't know how he died, but I thought it was interesting about the syphilis thing. I don't know if he got it naturally, if you will. If you understand what I'm saying? I ain't talking to you, Big Mike. I'm just saying the crowd. Or was he injected? And then all of a sudden he dies. Then this small hat person right? The small hat person comes along and his name is on it. So I always found that interesting in the music industry. Similar things like that happen.
Oh yeah, still to this day.
Yeah.
Still to this day. Why do you think they have all of these artists, man, that don't really have a body of work, but they out here wilding in the streets, in and out of jail. They all over the social media scene, but they're not really putting out any music. They may put out a mixtape, a verse here or there, but they're not putting out music. And what it is a lot of these execs, they latch on to these kids, give them money, let them continue to live the life that they're living. And then when you die, that's when they put the music out.
Right.
That's when you're gonna be worth the most money. I hope y'all are picking up that there's nothing new under the sun.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing new under the sun. But we're gonna move into the rock and roll genre. And we want to start talking about the very beginnings of rock and roll. And I showed, here at the beginning of the show, but I got these photos as well. And these are a couple of rock and roll pioneers, that really started the genre the way that it is today. And first, I think I would be remiss if I didn't show, Robert Johnson. Robert Johnson sold his soul to the devil at the crossroads, apparently, right?
Right.
So you can even put the devil in the music.
Mm-hmm.
We put the devil in the music first as well.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So this isn't even something that they invented. They're just playing out what we've already mapped out.
Yeah, all this shit, when they do this and all that kind of shit, that is an ancient, people say, oh, it's Masonic, whatever, but that's an ancient autochthonous symbol right there. That means a lot of things. But in reference to the music thing, we put Lucifer in this. We put that frequency, right? And tonality. We dug down and hit these negative demonic chords. That was so-called black people doing that. Them church, if you listen to them old church songs back, them shits was scary. They hit you hard.
Oh yeah. They hit the demonic chord. You know what I mean? Dirty Folks said I got to share this with, man. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Yeah, we might need to get you on here too, man. Shit, the link in the chat. So feel free to join at any time. Then I would go to this gentleman.
Yes, sir.
But there's somebody in between those two that perhaps defined the genre of rock and roll, maybe even more than Muddy Waters. You know what I mean? Even though Muddy Waters nobody played a guitar like him before him, besides Robert Johnson. And they say Robert Johnson couldn't play guitar, went to the crossroads, and 2 months later he just killing it. You know what I mean? So
right.
And he didn't live long either. He was gone pretty early, relatively early.
Right.
Yeah. So then Muddy Waters would probably be, I'm a man. That's Muddy Waters.
Right.
That's that sound,
Right.
So there's somebody in between there, and I got the license to the song, dog.
Yes, sir.
So, what I'm saying? Y'all get a chance to hear this song. This is Sister Rosetta Tharpe. The name of this song is Rock Me, and I want to say this was in the 1930s. 1930s or 1940s when she recorded this song. I think it's maybe 48 or something like that. But I'll find out exactly. But let's check out Sister Rosetta Tharpe. She was playing that guitar, by the way.
The words that I'm saying, wash my soul with water from on high. While the world of love is around me, evil thoughts do bind me. But oh, if you leave me, I will die. You hide me in the bosom, and the storms of life is until I want no more. Then you take me to your blessed home above. Make my journey brighter. You make my burden lighter. Help me to do good wherever I can. Oh, let thou presence thrill me. Thou loving kindness fill me. Then you hold me in the hollow of thy hand. You hide me in thy bosom till the storm of life is over. Oh, rock me in a cradle of thy love. Only be then who takes me to your blessed home above.
All right, that was Sister Rosetta Tharpe with "Rock Me."
Yes,
And let me
sir.
get the exact year of that. Let me look that up real quick. I feel like
Yeah.
that's important. Oh yeah.
You see the way she was holding that note out?
Oh yeah.
Who that remind you of? Judas Priest? Anybody like that? Rob Halford? Anybody?
Right. Well, this next video I got is very interesting about her, man. I mean, it's from the same people that did the last one, so they're real thorough. I like their videos, even though they're not all the way on point. They're pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on one sec. I'm sitting up here. Look at man, that shit gave me goosebumps a little bit, man.
Yeah, real shit. She's shit. That frequency.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So "Rock Me," that song was released in 1938. So I was right in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So that was 1938. When did they say rock started? Really in the 50s?
Right.
Right. That's when their rock started.
Right.
So once you realize that what you're gonna see as well is they like to date things about 4 or 5 years after the fact. Because what happens, they'll hear somebody do something, a black person that'll do something like spectacular, and then they have to start training on that.
Right.
They have to train on that for some time to pick up those techniques. So it's always going to be a 2 to 4 to 6 year gap, and when they say it started, and then versus when it really started, and y'all will see that tonight. It's like 6 years.
Yeah, ask Eric Clapton, ask the Stones, Rolling Stones about Jimi Hendrix. They was in the crowd, they was backstage, they was back there learning, sucking it up, getting the energy. You know, just like Big Mike said, 10 years, 6 years, 8 years, and all of a sudden they out there doing the damn gooseneck. So it's, I mean, shit. And Chuck Berry, I mean, you know, they studied the hell out of him. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Right. For some reason, I'm having issues on my Facebook stream. So go over to the Big Mike Drop on Facebook page, the Big Mike Drop page, or you can come over to YouTube. So yeah, either or. So they probably shut it down because of the songs on Facebook. That's my guess. But like I said, this is one of those shows, man. You're gonna have to catch it live.
Right.
You got to catch it live. I'll go back and put the licenses in later. I did put them in the description, but apparently the algorithm does not pick up the description, right?
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, that's probably what's going on there. So I'm gonna get up off of that. But anyway, I want to jump into this next video. It's called "The Woman Who Invented Rock and Roll," Sister Rosetta Tharpe, and that was the young lady you just heard and
This
saw
video is sponsored
a
by
picture of. So this is a Skillshare once again. I highly recommend this site, man, especially if you want to do some reference work on YouTube. I highly recommend this site, man, for things that you may find interesting. They got a lot of stuff on here.
Fair use.
Yeah, fair use, absolutely. I got it running at the bottom as well. So this is fair use. This is for educational purposes and discussion and news purposes. All right, so let's get into it.
The first 500 people to go to skl.sh/polyphonic26 will get 2 months of learning for free. It's hard to point precisely to the birth of a genre, but people love to do it nonetheless. When it comes to rock and roll, people like to name pioneers like Chuck Berry,
Hey, Mike, there's an
Little
echo.
Richard,
There's a
and
delay on
Buddy
it.
Diddley.
Uh-oh,
And
hold on.
yes, all of these artists did work
There
throughout
we
the
go.
50s
Better?
to codify rock
It's
and
better.
roll,
It's good. It's good.
turn it into a phenomenon. But long before Elvis was stealing the hearts of teenagers,
And
one
music.
artist was laying the groundwork for all that was to come. Before Chuck
Right.
Berry's duck walks and guitar solos, before Gory Carter's Rock a While or Jackie Brenston's Rocket 88, there was Sister Rosetta Tharpe, a woman known today as the godmother of rock and roll. Let's take a closer look. Rosetta Tharpe's talent was evident from a young age. She learned guitar at just 4 years old, and by the time she was 6, she had joined a troupe of evangelical musicians with her mother. That troupe toured across the American South, displaying and honing Tharpe's natural skills. And as she grew up, she started to develop her own unique sound. The biggest influence on that sound was the gospel music that Tharpe was surrounded by growing up. But she added her own influences in too, pulling from the growing genre of rhythm and blues and using her talent on the guitar to tear out greasy solos. Her music also owed a lot to jazz, in particular the off-kilter rhythms of swing music. Tharpe would even play alongside some of the swing greats. In October of 1938, she joined Cab Calloway on stage at the famous Cotton Club. In that same month, Tharpe went into the studio for the first time. She cut 4 songs in that session, and these songs would launch her to stardom. From the very beginning, you can hear the sounds that would define Tharpe's entire career. She smashed gospel lyrics together with greasy blues licks and sensual rhythms. Tharpe also had a powerful voice and a natural charisma that comes through beautifully in her early work. That's All was one of the first 4 recordings, and it was a perfect look at what would come in her career.
Preachers fighting one another think they're doing well. All they want is your money, and you can go to hell, and that's all. I just tell you that.
Another one of these early recordings was called Rock Me, looking forward to the genre Tharpe into a star, and made her one of the first gospel singers to have widespread mainstream success. Part of that success was because her music was raw and sexual, which appealed to growing secular audiences. Of course, this also caused a stir in the religious community. But Tharpe didn't let the church's expectations stop her. She would spend the next few years riding the train of stardom, pushing any boundaries she could. The biggest song of Tharpe's career was probably 1945's Strange Things Happening Every Day, which hit number 2 on Billboard's Race chart, a chart that would later be renamed the Rhythm and Blues charts.
All we hear church people say, they are in this holy way.
It wasn't all religious songs, though. Some of Tharpe's music had a sexual edge to it, like I Want a Tall Skinny Papa.
I want a tall, skinny papa. Yeah. I want a tall.
This kind of music raised scandal in the gospel community, and it wasn't the only way that Tharpe was defying the church's strict sexual rules. It's hard to confirm, but a lot of evidence points towards Tharpe being bisexual. In the late 1940s, she started a close relationship with Mary Knight, another gospel singer, a relationship that was likely romantic in nature. At the time, the gospel world considered it an open secret that Knight and Tharpe were lovers. Unfortunately, due to homophobic taboos at the time, it's difficult to confirm whether Tharpe and Knight were actually lovers, as both of them denied it. Either way, the two had musical chemistry. They played together for years, going on tour together and even recording. You can hear this play out on the duet You Gotta Move.
Yes, you got to move. You got to move. I said you got to move. You got to move. You got to move. Yes, you got to move. For when the Lord.
And Knight probably wasn't the only woman who Tharpe had relations with. In Gail Wald's biography of Tharpe, one of the singer's musicians recalls walking in on her in bed with 2 women. These kinds of stories show that it wasn't just Tharpe's music that made her a rock star. She lived one of the first true rock star lives too, touring the country and making mischief. And you can see that come through in her performances. Just look at this 1963 version of Didn't It Rain. You can feel Tharpe's charisma through the screen as she shreds the guitar and belts it out, all while dancing in heels.
Didn't it rain, children? Rain, oh, yes.
But even as she was pushing boundaries, Tharpe stayed true to her gospel roots. She became famous for looking up to the heavens as if channeling God as she performed. Throughout most of her career, a woman playing guitar like Tharpe did was simply unheard of. But she wasn't shy about her talents. People who saw her play often said she played guitar like a man, but Tharpe didn't agree with that. "Can't no man play like me," Tharpe said. "I play better than a man." And Tharpe didn't just defy the expectations of her gender, she defied racial expectations too. On one of her tours, Tharpe brought along the Jordanaires as a backing band. The Jordanaires were an all-white vocal group who were members of Nashville's legendary Grand Ole Opry at the time. A black woman playing in front of a group of white male backup singers was exceedingly rare, but that image resonated with a young, aspiring singer named Elvis Presley. Presley idolized Tharpe and would bring on the Jordanaires to sing with him later in his career. Gordon Stoker, one of the Jordanaires, explained that Tharpe's guitar playing was what drew Elvis to her. That's what really attracted Elvis, her pickin'. He liked her singing, but he liked that pickin' first because it was so different. You can see this pickin' in one of my favorite moments of Tharpe's guitar playing, a performance of Up Above My Head on the show TV Gospel. It's this kind of guitar playing that inspired a young Chuck Berry, who would go on to set the early standard for rock guitar. Chuck Berry even once called his entire career one long Sister Rosetta Tharpe impersonation. And it wasn't just Berry and Elvis. Johnny Cash shouted Tharpe out as one of his early influences at his Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction. As the 1950s began and more rock and roll came about, Tharpe's career began to take a downturn. The gospel audiences started to flock to her contemporary, Mahalia Jackson, and new rhythm and blues acts were popping up every day. But the influence of Tharpe remained. In 1957, she brought her sound to the United Kingdom on a 4-month tour. And then in 1964, she went back to the UK while touring Europe alongside blues legend Muddy Waters. European blues tours exposed Britain to American blues and helped start the
Story starting to make sense now. Is it starting to make sense now?
Oh, yeah.
Is it starting to come together for some of y'all out there?
Oh, and Jalen, I told you the woman is God, Jalen. Look, I told you, Jalen. I told you the woman is God.
Man, shout out to Dallas D and Jalen Breezer in the house, man. Hey, man, look, I'm just glad to have family in here on this Labor Day, man, and we're going to chop it up real good. You know what I'm saying? This isn't the only woman we're going to be highlighting tonight. Matter of fact, she's just the appetizer, actually. This is the godmother of rock.
Mm-hmm.
I would say the mother of rock.
Yes, sir.
Why you got to be the godmother?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Jalen says she's sick of your shots.
It's all love, Jay. I love you, Jalen. I love you to the deep root of your copper-colored, smooth skin, baby. I love you.
Shit, excuse me. Beer's starting to kick in now heavy, guys. Hold on. We're going to finish up. But I'm going to stay on with it.
The British Blues Revival, a movement that launched the careers of groups like the Rolling Stones, Fleetwood Mac, and Led Zeppelin.
Damn, some of the greatest groups ever?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, okay.
Despite this influence, Rosetta Tharpe was forgotten to history for a long time. People celebrated the likes of Elvis, Chuck Berry, and Johnny Cash for what they did to rock and roll, but they didn't look at the woman who influenced all of them. Lately, though, there's been a revival. In 2011, a BBC documentary on Sister Rosetta Tharpe helped bring awareness of her influence to the music world. In 2013, that documentary aired to an American audience on PBS, and as people began to realize the influence that Tharpe had, a groundswell of support for her grew until she was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2018. Rock
damn, took to 2018, and she was the mother of this genre.
Right. Sad.
Like, look, man, the next time y'all victims try to say we're playing victim, man, we are the most patient. We are the hardest working people you'll ever run into.
Facts.
Most creative, the most pragmatic. We actually complain the least.
Facts.
I don't know when the last time you've been on Fox News,
Mm.
but we actually complain the least.
Rock and roll was more than just a musical revolution. It reached across all of culture, radically shifting the world and paving the path for our present existence. And so it's important to look back at the greats who revolutionized rock and roll. And it's important to remember that the first of these greats, the person who pioneered rock and roll and set the stage for all that was to come, was Sister Rosetta Tharpe, a black and probably queer woman.
Okay, they had to crowbar that queer shit in there. They had to crowbar that in there. Like, look, man, and see that's the bad part about them. I'm gonna get on them for a minute because y'all niggas always got to have acknowledgement. Look, nobody's getting ready to acknowledge their sexual preference first and foremost. I'm tired of that. I'm sick of that. You're not who you screw. That's not who you are.
Mm-hmm.
People do so much more than have sex. I'm sure some of y'all don't understand that concept. But anyway, that's my rant on that before I go too far, get kicked all the way off. We just barely getting into the show, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so let me stop sharing that. But yeah, Sister Rosetta Tharpe.
And look, let's be real, Big Mike. I mean, people gonna disagree on this and all that, but what woman, especially today, ain't bisexual? So I don't give a fuck what people are doing in their bedroom. It doesn't, like you just said, it doesn't define who they are. We're talking about her art, her ability to play guitar and sing and be a musician. And they want to, like you said, crowbar this, the LBGD, up, down, left, right, whatever they call. But I mean, real talk. What girl today ain't bisexual?
Well, they're trying to do the same shit the Jamaicans are doing right now with hip hop.
Right.
And the Puerto Ricans, because a nigga was half Puerto Rican and rapping. He wasn't rapping from the Puerto Rican standpoint. You see what I mean? He wasn't repping Puerto Rican culture. The nigga just happened to be half Puerto Rican or happened to be Jamaican. But you were not. You were rapping our culture. The culture you more than likely grew up in. So those people during that time when they were having sex with all these different people, or whatever they were doing, rock stars get it in. Most of the motherfuckers gay. If you had
right.
So you know what I mean? For real, most of them.
Hey, real shit. And there's proof of it too.
Yeah, it's plenty of proof. So, that wasn't what their main thing was doing. That was just something they did.
Much respect, Savannah. What's up with you?
Yeah, man, Savannah in the building. Hold on one second.
Jalen said, right, we do complain at least. That white man who was a CFO fell from the 18th. Yeah, real shit.
Yeah, man, we complain the least, man. Like, look, we're gonna stop. We're anti-gaslighting right now. So nobody is getting ready to gaslight us any longer, especially if you're one of my people, man, and you on this show and you listening to what we got going on. Yeah, we're done with that.
Mm-hmm.
So when they tell us we running the Victim Olympics, actually we're not. Y'all the ones over here running the Victim Olympics.
Facts.
Y'all the only ones running.
Because like you said the other day, too, you said they have to establish this system. I call it the white inferiority complex because of their Victim Olympics. Anybody that was confident, anybody that was, if you will, a share of nature would never do no demonic weirdo, lesser than or I don't even say holier than thou, but lesser than thou, you know what I'm saying, type system to make sure they're okay. That constant fear of genetic annihilations in their brain every damn millisecond. It's crazy.
I mean, anytime you have to develop an entire welfare system to make sure you make it, That's all that is a welfare system to make sure that they make it. And once people realize that, I mean, look, we just take and flip everything on this axis. You know what I'm saying? And start thinking about things from a different perspective. If you really look at when people say this foul shit to us, after all we've done for culture and society, they turn around and say this foul shit to us. They're not really saying it to us. They're projecting how they feel about themselves onto us.
Mm-hmm. What's up, No? Hey, No, I apologize for getting niggerish on your show the other day. I do apologize for that. So, my fault there. But I don't like them damn immigrants. They got to go. They got to go.
Man, what's up, man? World class in the building. Hey, that was truly a sight to behold last night. Truly a sight to behold. Truly a sight to behold, man. So, man, check it out, man. I'm trying to figure out where I should go from here. We're right at about an hour and 20 minutes. I know what I am going to do. I'm going to open up the phone lines. So, yeah, let me get the phone lines popping. I done lost some time on those, so it's not going to be open long, fam. So if y'all got questions or comments, man, y'all call and get them in early. Call and get them in early. But I am going to ask the question once I get Noble's comment off the stage. What have other races contributed to American culture? I'm trying to get a list of 10 things that other people have contributed to this culture. 10, just 10.
I guess so.
Give us a call, 515-605-9708. We're talking about positive contributions, Westside.
Yeah.
I know you ain't got none of those. I need 10 positive things that other races have contributed to this culture.
Got it.
Right now, the Italians up with Rico. Thank y'all. We appreciate it. Oh, man. Hold on. Let me get this phone started up. I don't know why I always forget to do this, man. Y'all got to remind me.
Blog Talk Radio.
Yeah, Blog Talk, man. Blog Talk been with me for a minute now. I didn't even realize I had done so many episodes on this thing.
So that means you have a Blog Talk page too, right?
I do, actually. Yeah, I get some people that call in off of that.
Man, I ain't been on Blog Talk since Dr. Deborah Blair.
Welcome to Blog Talk Radio. Please enter your host PIN. When finished, press the pound key.
To start your show now, press 1.
Sound like some video game shit.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Blog Talk Radio.
All right, man. We got the Blog Talk up and running, man. It's Mr. Big Mike Drop and Mr. Westside Kulik in the building, man. I forgot my damn name for a minute. Yeah. If y'all haven't checked out my roast on Modern Renaissance, man, Ty Smith, get over to the channel and check it out. I hope you like Hitchcock. That shit's real suspenseful and drama filled, man. So go check that out over there on the Big Mike Drop channel. Also, check out Westside Kulik. Subscribe, like, share Westside Kulik's channel, man. He got some awesome content on there. He'll be coming back at the end of this month. Also, World Class. Go check out the World Class. Go check out my man Dirty Folks. Even go check out Jalen Breezy. Jalen Breezy been dropping the shorts, man. You know what I'm saying? Keep doing your thing. Keep doing your thing. And Savannah got a show coming, if I'm not mistaken. And we're gonna find out more about that. Shout out to XL Pro in the building, Ja King, all the families in the building, man. Like, share, and subscribe this channel, please. So that's the question, man. Let me take this down for one moment, man. We'll get to another video here soon. But what have other races contributed positively to American culture? Westside, do you have any positive contributions?
Positive contributions. They're good at remixing things, taking our stuff and doing it, taking it and that's all I can say.
Putting a little Goya on that shit.
Right. Right. That's all I can say, Big Mike. I don't know. I can't think of nothing.
Hey, Jalen Breezy said, well, white people have brought us the court justice systems, child support, and potatoes. Appreciate y'all for that. I don't even know what to say.
Well, the court systems, even before the so-called Republican Party thing, we had our own, if you will, Supreme Court justice set up and all this. So all these things you see in America now is nothing, but that's what I'm saying. The remix thing is nothing but a remix of what we did back in the day. If you look at these old European journals, whether it be from the British, the Spanish, whatever, they'll tell you that they were seeing houses and neighborhoods in the Americas. They were seeing cars even before Henry Ford and all these Nazi Zionists like that. So that's why I said remix. They can take something, remix it, and make it look like it's brand new, but it's really been done before.
Man, this is a dude up here in Atlanta that could take any car you got and turn that shit to an electric car.
Damn.
Any car. Yeah, he was on the news the other day. Hey, man, also, get over to Melanated and Candid Productions, man, with Dallas D. Dallas D has some awesome content over there. I was over there the other night, man. It took me back to my mental health days when I was working with kids in the mental health facilities. And talking about CPS and different things like that. So she's really attacking some real serious topics over there. It'll be great for men and women to go check out. So check out Melanated and Candid Productions with Dallas D as well. All right. Well, we're gonna move on. I got this little video. and like I said, it's a video heavy show tonight, man. Video heavy show. I like videos. Of course, y'all see. And plus, we're on YouTube, man. So just got to use YouTube, right? That's what we do. That's what we do. Shout out to Noble. All right. So this is called The Devil's Music. It's called The Devil's Music. So, I had already talked about Robert Johnson incorporating the help of Satan at the crossroads in order to learn how to play the guitar a lot better and create this thing that we call blues, which then evolved into rock and roll, which then evolved into rhythm and blues. So, it was going on at the same time jazz was going on.
Right.
So these were happening simultaneously. So this is called The Devil's Music. It's going to talk about the roots of jazz. Go ahead, brother. I'm sorry.
This is going to sound a little bit off base. So when he went to the crossroads, and I want y'all to study this too. Don't take my word for it, but study this because I'm a huge metal fan. I'm a huge rock and roll fan. It's like I love death metal. I don't know, me and Big Mike have similar tastes. I don't know if he's really into death metal like that. I love bands like Suffocation and Morbid Angel and Anal Cunt and stuff like that. But anyway,
my Anal Cunt. God
damn. Oh, you like
that? Shit, that sounds like it stink.
Yeah, dude offed himself on stage too. He was highly into his art and performances. So if y'all don't know, do history on Anal Cunt. But the other aspect of this so-called devil and Satan, whatever, if you look at it, is actually the feminine entity, a deity. So they had to go down, especially men. They had to grab that demonic angel we call Lucifer, right, or Lucy, to bring forth this rock and roll and these chords and these dark demented codes and stuff like that, because a man really becomes a man once he gets with a woman, especially if a woman did him wrong, whatever. He really digs deep into something he didn't know that was there. So that demonic tone and the rock and roll thing comes from a feminine principle. I'm being real with y'all. The devil is woman. That's not trying to be offensive to y'all, but the man is God and the devil is the woman. It's just different polarities and different energies. That's all.
Okay. And that might explain why there's such a feminine, especially in the 80s, man, and late 70s and 80s, man. There was a big feminine, androgynous type of,
yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? Feel to rock and roll music. Even cats, naming themselves after women. Look at Marilyn Manson, which is one of the best artists ever. I love Marilyn.
Facts.
But
Facts.
That's where that came from, was tapping into that femininity as well.
Facts.
Yeah. Marilyn Manson was the illest when it came to that.
Facts.
Let's see here. So we're gonna call this The Devil's Music, man. We're gonna talk about it. Let's talk about it, man. Let's talk about it. This is fair use. So let's go.
Oh shit, Michelle for real. Oh shit.
Yep. Somebody waits for me, sugar sweet, and so is he.
Salute, Tola.
No one here can love and understand me.
I know today
We respect jazz. The world over, it's accepted as an art form. Yet at the beginning, and this is what seems to be forgotten, at the beginning, the obstacles were overwhelming. F word. He jazzed her. The J is sometimes spelled G-A-S-S, but G-A-Z-Z had a definite sexual connotation, something illegal.
So does jizz.
Yes, sir.
Therefore, something quite desirable.
Jazz.
Through World War I and into the
Hey, bro, when that shit started happening, man, them hoes started getting loose.
Facts.
Up in the 20s, bro. That's where all that syphilis shit came from.
Right. Hey, was fucking and shucking.
Hey,
Right.
we'll talk about the first sexual revolution, which did occur in the 20s.
Right.
After World War I. So, yeah, we'll talk about that
1920s.
later.
The intoxicating sounds of jazz were spreading across America. At the same time, a growing controversy was developing over what some people considered the dangerous influence of this music. Thomas Edison, who invented the phonograph, ridiculed jazz, saying it sounded.
What reason would a white man have to invent a phonograph? Just ask yourself that question.
Sounded better played backwards. The Saturday Evening Post ran an ad selling jazz.
Hey, play your J.P. Sousa records.
Damn.
Furniture that it claimed could prevent what it called the barbaric sounds of jazz from invading the purity of one's home. In Cincinnati, a YWCA Home for Expectant Mothers won a court injunction to prevent construction of a neighboring theater where jazz would be played.
They were afraid that jazz emotions would be implanted in the babies that the women were carrying. It shows a very revealing notion that this music can literally enter through your skin and transform, you might say, the psyche of a fetus.
Many states enacted laws to try to stop the spread of jazz. By the end of the 1920s, at least 60 communities across America had prohibited jazz in public dance halls. Clergy, politicians, parents, professors argued against the evils of jazz. Attacks appeared in the national press, from newspapers as lofty as the New York Times to popular women's magazines like the Ladies' Home Journal. Never in the history of our land have there been such immoral conditions. The blame is laid on jazz music and its evil influence on the young people today. Jazz is retrogression. It is going back to the African jungle for our music. It is a savage crash and bang. It is a revolt against authority.
They really argue, for example, that if you're sitting in a jazz club, you will lose your ability to control yourself and to be civilized, and you will be much more susceptible to immoral behavior, excessive drinking, sexual experimentation, perhaps illicit sex. What you're hearing are Americans who fear that the African-American origins of jazz are somehow going to cause people almost to lose their racial identity and to become like primitive savages.
This dirty black, in fact, let me use the obscene phrase, nigger music. Their music, or not even music, that stuff, of course we're looked down upon.
Black musics have always been attacked, and it's very problematic in American society. The penetration of those polite societies by jazz music was cause of unlimited consternation. There's no question that this caused, like it does today with hip hop culture, an enormous degree of anxiety about policing the boundaries of Black and white culture.
I think that nothing less is at stake than the preservation of civilization. This stuff by itself won't bring down civilization, but it doesn't help.
This is extreme, awful, disgusting stuff that millions of kids.
All right, we get into another genre now. But I wanted to let y'all see that about jazz first and foremost while I ran out real quick. But I want y'all to keep into take into consideration what they said about one losing their racial identity by listening to jazz. And when you think about that, I want you to look up the beatnik movement. The beatnik movement was a movement amongst white kids in the 1940s, 1950s. And let me find some pictures. You know what I'm talking about once you see it. Anybody in the comments and the chat familiar with the beatnik movement? If you are, put a 1 in the chat. And I'll give y'all a moment to do that before I get into it, while I find a proper image that'll kind of sum up what the beatnik movement was.
ZPE, call in, ZPE, call on the show, man. I know you know. Call in, dog.
515-605-9708. 515-605-9708. So think about what they said about losing your racial identity by listening to jazz. And then we'll put that into consideration with these people. And matter of fact, let me just import this picture over here real quick, brother. Let me just import that real quick. And then I'll just put it in StreamYard. And we'll be able to see it. Give me one moment. I'm going to take the number down for a second. And this is probably not an actual beatnik picture. This is probably somebody kind of acting like beatniks, but you'll understand what I'm saying here. So you remember seeing pictures of these guys back in the 50s with the Tams, the shades, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Things like that. A lot of open drug use, reading of philosophers like Camus, Albert Camus, and absurdism and these different ideals that actually started the basis of the hippie movement. And I'm trying to find something that kind of gives you an idea about it, but I don't want to get off into I don't want to go off on a tangent about it, but I do feel it's important to put into perspective. Let's see here. Give me 1 second, fam. I want to find a real picture of the real beatniks.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were some little fifth graders or some shit.
Savannah said, I guess Rachel Dolezal was a fan of jazz. Cops used to call hippie beatniks.
Yeah. The beatniks, man, was it was basically the start of the hippie movement, but I'm having a hard time finding real pictures that kind of go with the stereotype, because it was a lot of different fashions involved with it. But let's see here. This is an official picture.
Yeah, I feel you, ZP. Yeah. We got similar over here. Yeah, I got you. I know.
Say you got what?
ZP said it's 110. He has 108 over here. Been outside all day. Phone is tweaked.
Oh.
Yeah, that phone gonna burn out in the damn sun.
Stop that screen and share this one. Yeah, I found it. I found the real ones. These are some of the real beatniks. In this article is Who Were the Beatniks? Beatnikculture.blog. So that was the real beatniks, the white kids that started basically becoming disaffected with society. You know what I mean? They came around probably between 1948, 1957, right at the beginning of the hippie movement. So this was the beginning of basically social turmoil within the white community.
Right.
For those who are familiar with history, you understand that the term teenager wasn't coined until the 50s. Before the 50s, there was no such thing as a teenager. Now, of course, you would go through your teens, but you were either grown or a child at that point in time. So you still saw a lot of people moving out on their own, quitting school, going to work, 12, 13 years old, 14 years old, getting married, 14, 15 years old, having kids by 15. So there was never really a teenager, type of lifestyle until the 1950s. These were the first kids to kind of rebel against the social norms of that, what they call the Placid Decade. But they did come from jazz. So I just thought that was interesting that they put in that you would actually lose your racial identity listening to jazz. I think there was a little bit of truth to that. And I think the nature of the music in itself, the message of the music, and the purpose of us even making the music was to revolt against authority. It was to cause social dissension. It was to cause dissonance. And the music actually incorporated that dissonance, right? But it also incorporated egalitarian principles, because if you listen to a jazz album, every instrument has a solo. Every instrument they play in unison, and then every instrument will break off and they'll have their own time to do their own thing, freestyle. And that's usually how jazz is set up. One of my favorite genres of music as well. But I just wanted to inject that fact. I hope I didn't go too far off topic. But let's see what we got here. Yeah, nobody on just yet. Y'all go and hit that link, man. It's pinned to the top of the chat. Y'all can hit the link, or you can jump on the phones. It's up to you. 515-605-9708. I know you got questions, comments, something. Let's get it going.
In Modern Renaissance, why don't you call in? I saw your channel the other day. You was playing bass. You know about music. I saw you playing your bass there, buddy.
Yeah,
I saw you.
I saw that too. Yeah, he knows about music. Old nigga.
Call in Modern Renaissance. Call in.
So we're gonna move to some uncomfortable territory. It's gonna be uncomfortable for a lot of white folks. I must say. But hopefully, man, look, man, we'll get y'all back to where y'all need to be right here. Damn. What have other races contributed to American culture?
Shit, nothing. OT was trying to hit.
I hope that ain't it.
OT.
I hope that ain't it.
OT was trying to hit his lick right there. Hit his walk, and that random bitch came out of nowhere with this shit.
Oh yeah.
And shout out to OT Genesis, by the way. Shout out to OT Genesis. Shout out.
We got DJ ZPE in the building. What's happening with you, fam?
What's good, Big Mike? What's good, Kulik?
What's up, man? How you doing there? What's up there?
Good. This phone is twacking. It's like 98 degrees. I got this shit held up in front of a fan right now.
Damn.
Damn. Where you calling from?
I'm in the Bay Area in Cali.
Shout out to Cali and the Bay Area, especially, man. Bay Area, the home of a lot of great music. A lot of great music in rock and other genres. So yeah.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I'm appreciating the conversation and the bringing up of the beatnik culture.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
Well, it was born during Prohibition.
Yeah. Did it come straight from jazz?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
jazz was the unifying factor of all people during Prohibition,
Yeah,
during
absolutely.
the beatnik movement. And they, the foreigners who were coming in, who were disaffected with quote unquote white society, they were looking for some sort of connection, and they found their way to our community.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Are you a beatnik?
I mean, I listen to jazz, but I mean, I listen to so many different genres of music. Like, I don't really conform to any labels.
I will tell you one thing. I love the fashion of that particular movement, man. I like their fashion sense.
Yeah, the whole
wearing
the
some black.
beatniks came out of the flappers. Like,
Okay,
we had the flapper movement going on, and the beatnik movement was the counterculture to the flapper movement, which was an Aboriginal thing.
okay,
And that's
okay.
when the jazz got born, and then you have, all the greats going overseas introducing jazz, and the Europeans then created their jazz fusion.
Yeah,
So there's a truth to what you say, because when Europeans play our music, they acquire soul.
absolutely, absolutely.
They
And
acquire soul.
it's interesting you brought that up, man. I'm gonna hold on to that point till later, but it's interesting that you brought up that you can actually acquire soul through some of this music.
It's a vibration. Your body is nothing but vibration. So if you tune your shit, voila.
Yeah,
That's right.
absolutely. Absolutely. Jalen Breezy said, I love Boney James. Yeah, shout out to Boney James, man. Real shit. Real shit. Much respect to Red Wolf in the building.
Red Wolf.
So but we're gonna get into some uncomfortable territory for a lot of non-colored people. We got Red Wolf in the house with us today.
How you doing, Red Wolf?
Yeah, we're gonna get into some uncomfortable territory.
Yo, what's happening, y'all? What's happening?
What's up, man? What's up?
What's good?
Red Wolf? Mr. Wolf?
Yo, I just stopped in. I'm stopping in for a minute. I got to run out. I'm helping a friend of his change his rear end. So,
Okay. What's good, man? What you think about the topic tonight, man? Hey, there you go.
No, I think it's a great topic. I remember we mentioned the Scott and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, that's excellent. So,
Man, I tell you, man, I've been enjoying these last 2 evenings, man, listening to all this great music that I've never heard before. Bringing chill bumps on me, man, like listening to we're gonna talk about Bam Bam and Tina Bell, and listening to their 1984 demo tape, and just hearing Alice in Chains and Nirvana and all of that stuff so early in the game, man. Like, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. We're gonna get into punk rock, and then we're gonna go from punk rock to grunge, which is it's a difference, but I would say grunge is more of a mix between punk rock, heavy metal, with a little alternative, maybe a little surf rocking involved because of the location where it came from, the West Coast. So you got a little bit of that sound in there as well. You got a lot of harmonics. You got bass heavy.
Right.
Bass is playing rhythm. You got a lot of guitar sludge and just kind of letting the instrument just be the instrument and making that, like I said, incorporating dissonance into the music and just coming with a social message. I mean, even the music has a social message without words. It's crazy, man. It'll make you do what it wants you to do. So we're going to talk about the very black history of punk music. The very black history of punk music. And I bet y'all didn't think that there were black punk rock bands.
That part.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of knew it, but I knew about Fishbone. I knew about different groups, Bad Brains, different groups like that. But I'm saying blacks inventing or becoming punk before there was a punk movement.
Yeah, Death in
Proto-punk.
1974, if I'm not mistaken. It was 1974. A couple of brothers in Motown, Detroit.
Yeah, 1971.
71. Okay,
was
so they
71.
popped off in 74 and they recorded the album. They were probably, you know how bands always play for a few years before they pop off, before
Yeah,
they
exactly.
record the album.
Exactly. So we're gonna talk about the very black history of punk, and this is a pretty good video, man. It kind of breaks down, what the whole movement was really about, man. And not saying that white people weren't invited and other people couldn't come, because the music was, universal. It's for everybody. It's meant for everybody to enjoy. But once again, when we start having conversations about who created what, this is the type of knowledge that we need to be armed with. At least the conversation, man, because a lot of times people will try to work something over on you just because of the color of your skin. Now, West talked about this before. I grew up listening to heavy metal. I was a heavy metal fan before anything else. So Metallica, I think my first favorite group was like Bon Jovi. You know what I mean? And then I kind of started getting it. Well, Glass Tiger was first. Then I started getting into like Bon Jovi. Then I went in, from Bon Jovi to like, some more little light rock. I started listening to rap for a while. Then probably about 1988, 89, I copped the Appetite for Destruction album, the actual vinyl, Guns N' Roses. My mom, I see the picture on the inside of that shit.
And we know about Slash too. Slash is half indigenous, so if y'all didn't know.
Slash is half indigenous. Old buddy from Metallica, Kurt Hammett, their lead guitarist, he's half indigenous as well. So these, a lot of us are still involved. Look at the guitarist. We could just get into guitars, period.
I think Kurt Hammett is Filipino. That's what I think he is.
He's Filipino?
Yeah, he's
Filipino. Yeah, that would make sense. In the 1890s, they shipped in, 360,000 Filipinos to the South.
Okay. Well, he's from the Bay. He's from where you from? He's from the Bay.
Oakland,
yeah, he's from the Bay.
Yeah. But there's I'm just pointing out there's a large population of Filipinos in the Americas, because the Filipinos looked and lived very similar to us before Uncle Sam did his island hopping adventures.
Right. Facts. Matter of fact, there was a black dude over there that was teaching the Filipinos guerrilla warfare.
Yep.
There was a brother over there doing that. He deserted and stayed over there and taught them guerrilla warfare. So yeah.
Well, because they adopted our bolo knife.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how you know. Yeah.
See?
Man,
look, man. You see, look, is there a place in the world we really haven't touched?
No.
Is there a place in the world we haven't touched? What's in Antarctica? No. Besides the no-fly zone.
Our shit. Probably the 7 cities of gold. The heart of Atlantis.
Hey, the real royals of the world.
The royals of the water.
All of
that. The royals when the roads were rowed. You feel me? Roads were rowed.
Church.
You don't need to worry about curtain kites or currents.
When
you can row.
Right. Facts. Well, I'm going to go ahead and jump into this video. I'm going to keep us up here on there, but I'm just going to share it. But yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm excited to let y'all see this. This is called The Very Black History of Punk Music. And this is fair use.
Punk rock all the time.
And that is the sound of punk. Short, fast riffs, lyrics pushing back against the mainstream mundane, the original don't give a attitude, and a no rules allowed genre for self-identifying misfits that emerged at a time where music was becoming maybe a little too clean. But punks, or at least as I saw it growing up, rarely looked like anything other than these guys. Hey guys, I'm Sana, this is AJ Plus, and today we're going to explore the very black history and present of punk music. Now, there was a decent amount of women who led the movement: Patti Smith, Joan Jett, Debbie Harry, and Susie Sue, and they all got major recognition. But black or Latino or any other shade of punk, not really.
I got to say this about Debbie Harry. Shout out to Debbie Harry, man. First of all, Debbie Harry had a song back in the 80s called French Kissing in the USA. I used to love that song, man. So shout out to her, man. Once again. But also, Debbie Harry was a member of the group Blondie. And Blondie had a song called Rapture that was the first song to make #1 that included and featured a rap verse. It was the first mainstream song to make #1 on the Billboard that included a rap verse. So Debbie Harry is very important to the movement. Don't slip. It was some white people that were involved too, which is why I said they deserve some of the credit. I can't give Puerto Ricans 50-50.
That part.
There's more credit to be given and divvied up. But
Yeah.
that's her, Debbie Harry.
A lot of people got it fucked up because they've been sleeping on rock because they assumed it was all white people.
Oh nah, man, there wouldn't have been no rock if it weren't for us. And I hope I've done a good enough job of proving just the genesis of it. But this next shit is gonna blow your mind. This next music we're gonna listen to is gonna blow your mind, bro. I promise you. I'm ready to catch the copyright strike on this one tonight.
Get it?
Yeah, let's get it.
Really. That doesn't sound weird if you've been taught the history of punk as something that emerged from the working class angst of young white English men. Think the Sex Pistols and the Clash. But it is weird when you dig a bit deeper into the history of punk and find that black and brown punks actually pioneered the movement. Now, the most popular black American punk band is probably Bad Brains. At first, I want to talk about Death, the guys who helped pioneer punk without even trying or knowing. Death was the three Hackney brothers from Detroit. Their music is what's been called proto-punk. Punk before we knew punk was punk.
Always trying to be slick when they tell us that they're responsible for sending
Yeah.
Broke all the rules. There were three black men playing what was considered white people's music at a time where black Americans were known for playing things like Motown.
They ain't have no music but the polka and the fucking waltz.
That part. They had bandstand.
Yeah,
They didn't have
bandstand.
any rock.
Facts.
Fucking bandstand.
Facts.
Felt natural doing it while we were in our own quarters, but playing it out means that you had to answer so many questions.
Yeah, we totally spoke to death. Now, the Hackney brothers did start off by playing like R&B. In fact, their band was originally called Rock Fire Funk Express. But by 1973, they started playing rock and roll.
But we were just playing hard driving rock and roll, man. We were just really like the groups of the day that we love, like the MC5 and Alice Cooper and all those great rock and roll bands of the 70s. We were really, just kind of, springboarding off of the sound that they was laying down. But we were just doing it harder, faster, and louder.
Despite their raw sound and unique and intimidating name, which, by the way, was totally ahead of its time, they didn't last long as a band. They just didn't get the distribution that they needed, with some record labels worried about how to market their name and their sound. And so Death kind of disbanded, but the brothers continued making music. And it was only 30 years later, in 2008, that...
What's that?
That's complete bullshit. The record labels all told them if they changed their name from Death, they would put them on. And these three brothers said, fuck y'all, we're not selling out. We're going to do our thing and stay original and true to our inner vision. And they didn't get put on for another 30 fucking years.
Yes,
just for clarity.
Those are facts.
Pardon my French.
They actually went to Clive Davis, and Clive Davis told them he liked the music, but Clive Davis told them to change the name, and they like, fuck that.
Mm-hmm.
Which means they were living punk as well. It was no
facts.
This is punk rock. Punk rock is the rebellion. It's
a lifestyle.
Yes. This is the social disorder. Through music. Who else would have a reason to create punk in the 60s besides us?
That part.
Facts.
Yeah. Let's go. Wait, a good call out too, DJ.
Death was rediscovered and thrown onto people's radar. Now, even though Death didn't go mainstream, their music was known underground and by the most diehard punk fans, meaning they had influence.
There really was no scene or community or culture to embrace them, and it's only kind of in retrospect that people have realized, like, wow, these guys were making punk rock out of their own inner creative compulsions in Detroit.
Now, while Death is a pioneering band in punk history, they actually don't necessarily see what they were doing at the time as punk. In fact, just plain old rock and roll.
We never really considered ourselves a punk band. I mean, back then, if you called somebody a punk, you know, you got into a fight. We were playing what we conceived as hard driving Detroit rock.
That's how you know black folks didn't name the genre.
Right.
Yeah, we didn't name the genre. There wasn't no punk shit going on. Like, you call somebody a punk, you're right, you're gonna get into a fight. That means you're getting, you know, you're not a man, you're getting punked, whatever, you know.
That's like calling us black.
Yeah, exactly.
You're gonna see black.
Exactly. Jalen and Breezy, man, I have to show you. Like, even Bootsy Collins was classified R&B, but he had a rock star feel like these gentlemen in the video. Absolutely. And I thank you and appreciate you for bringing up Bootsy Collins, one of the great black rock stars. George Clinton as well.
Yes, sir.
Parliament Funkadelic was nothing but rock music.
Definitely.
That's all funk music really was rock music. It was just another form of rock music.
Hey, Rick, can you talk about the skinhead groups too?
Yeah, the original skinheads were yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we listen.
Yeah, we hear.
Yeah, the original skinheads, they started in England and I believe between Boston and New York. It was Jamaicans, Islanders, some of us, and pale skins. It was against racism.
Oh, so those would be those blackbirded hardcore.
That's when they were dancing the sky and all that stuff. That's when it all.
That makes sense.
With the red suspenders, with the white t-shirts, the red suspenders.
Yeah, that's all I said.
The Doc Martin.
And it was a nigga. It was a pale skin. It was a pale skin. Right. It was a pale skin in New York who created that natural white front that emulated us.
Wow.
And you know, and all that racism goofy stuff.
You'll see a lot of emulation through history. And like I said before, history doesn't repeat itself, but history does rhyme. There's harmony in history. You'll see the emulation is going to be a common situation throughout history, especially dealing with us here in the United States. We got Mr.
Big
Goodbread in
facts.
the building. So yeah, let's keep going.
Roll, man.
It's also important to note, as writer and musician Greg Tate told me, the difference in how white and black musicians in the same genre were marketed and how that had an impact on who got the credit and who got the fame.
The American music business is made up of gatekeepers on the corporate side, on the radio side. They very much subscribe to the Jim Crow notions of racial separation and segregation, which defined American culture throughout most of the 20th century. It meant that black artists, historically for most of the 20th century, couldn't make as much money playing their own music, didn't have access to the same audiences, the same opportunities.
Now, in the 70s, there was another black punk band that really changed the scene, Bad Brains, considered one of the most influential punk bands ever.
When they do wrong, go the other way.
The group formed in 1976 in Washington, D.C., getting its name from a Ramones song. The punk band dominated in the 80s with their mix of reggae and a very aggressive punk sound known as hardcore. In fact, they, along with Minor Threat and Black Flag, are considered the pioneers of hardcore, which is a genre of punk which is, well, pretty damn fast. And D.C. was hardcore's mecca and also one of the most long-term influential punk scenes. And there were also other black punk bands like Pure Hell, Fishbone, and the UK's X-Ray Specs, whose lead vocalist was a woman. It's worth noting that these bands weren't segregated to some black punk category. They influenced other bands and vice versa. Take reggae, for example. Numerous white punk bands used reggae in their music in the UK throughout the 70s, inspired by black punk bands' use of it. In my conversation with Tate, You mentioned how this idea that rock or punk as a all-white boys club didn't really exist in the UK. Black and brown punks were heavily influencing the scene.
Under the Thatcher government, there was a lot of disenfranchisement of, white working class youth, who were non-racist or anti-racist. They kind of found their voice and their militancy through the political actions and the music of their Black and South Asian born classmates, and neighbors.
And just like their British counterparts, American punks were also really influenced by politics. Whether U.S. wars in Cambodia and Vietnam in the 70s, or, Ronald Reagan's bold presidency throughout the 80s. But punk, especially Black punk, isn't a thing of the past. It's still a live, budding cultural movement today.
I realized that, not only is rock and roll something that is native to people like myself and to Honeychild, but it's almost like my birthright.
That's Honeychild Coleman and Sasha Jenkins of the punk band trio, the 1865. And yes, their name is referencing exactly what you think it's referencing. The 1865 references America in 1865, when the Emancipation Proclamation brought a lot of promise of change for Black Americans, except the racists had other plans.
Soon after, organizations like the Ku Klux Klan and other groups who weren't really fans of people like myself and this young lady got together and kind of made it their business to get in our business and make it hard for us.
You know something? That's what a lot of niggas from other countries should do. When your government get on your nerves, just make songs, nigga. Shit. Don't come over here. How about that?
That's right. That's right.
America. And so you look at the climate of where we are now, I don't want to necessarily be so literal, but it feels like the same kinds of sentiments.
The 1865 makes music that looks at 1865 America from the lens of a runaway slave, a white Southern soldier, a slave owner who felt no guilt. The trio is part of a still growing and very visible Black presence in the punk scene, something that was highlighted in the 2003 documentary Afropunk. The documentary really explored trials and good times faced by Black youth who were an intimate part of a cultural scene that has always been seen as white by outsiders. The film ended up inspiring a bigger cultural movement, including a festival started in 2005 by the same name. The Afropunk Festival, which was started in Brooklyn and now is international, basically is about celebrating Black artists, Black creatives, and Black fans in the alternative scene. Honeychild Coleman, Sasha Jenkins, and Shauna Shante, who runs a Black Brown Punk Festival in Oakland, all say that there's nothing more punk than being Black in America.
I'm not saying Black people created punk rock. I'm saying we are punk rock without even trying.
You hear that? I love that. That was my favorite part of that whole video. When he said that we are punk rock without even trying.
That part
of what people do that creates punk culture, say going on tour, booking your own tour through a underground network. That's what Black musicians had to do because we weren't allowed to play in clubs. When we have been pushed to the margins, but we create in those margins, and that's it doesn't get more punk than that.
I knew that it was my legacy, and I never believed anyone who told me I was trying to be white because I love rock and I love guitars.
But even though they all agree that there's nothing more punk than being Black, they also raise the point of how different the experience is of being either white or Black in the punk scene.
When you're Black, you're punk rock all the time. You're a target all the time. And I can't change the color of my skin. There is a level of privilege that goes with, I'm going to put a safety pin through my nose and paint my hair, dye my hair green for 3 years, and then I'm going to clean up and put on a suit and get a corporate job. We don't really have that luxury.
You also get cred for having punk years. But in my experience working in the corporate world, I can't let everybody know what I do outside of work because it could cost me my job.
And for Shauna, it remains super important to keep creating spaces that empower people on the margins.
I think it's important to see people who look like you making music and art. It can feel very isolating and depressing as a young person when people are trying to box you into one sort of identity and tell you how you have to be based on your ethnicity or your class.
Punk is complicated, even though it's just simple, raw music. As a movement, it has this incredibly rich history that, like the people in it, is hard to box. And if the Black history of punk music tells us anything, it's how instrumental Black musicians have been in the creation of an American pop culture.
Life-changing interview.
And then Sasha smashes the guitar.
Right.
All right, man. So yeah, that's the very Black history of rock music. What y'all think about that, fellas?
No, it's just solid. I mean,
Is that how you remember it?
I just know that we created the shit. That's all I know. I just know we created the shit. That's all.
Hey, Jalen Breezy said, not everyone all at once.
I would say it's fairly accurate. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, they out there with you, man, in Oakland, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I bet your old girl smoking lovely, too. I already know.
Yeah, I mean these movements, and like y'all said on here,
this goddamn reverb.
I don't know, that's weird.
Yeah, I got some reverb and some echo. Like
check. Y'all hear
break
echo
it
now?
up. No. It's when Big Mike plays. It sounds like the video's getting chopped up on my turntables.
Oh, for real on the video? Does it sound like that when I talk?
No.
Yes, sir. It's on my end.
Oh,
it's
okay.
good though. I'm used to it.
Yeah, it's doubled up. Yeah.
I was up all night doing a build on the homie Love Zay's channel, and it was like that the whole time. It's good.
Oh, okay. Got you. Yeah, man, I'm gonna have to start getting out here in these YouTube streets, man. There's so many brothers out here, man, that's chopping it up and building on these panels, man. I'm gonna have to start doing some little street activities out here in YouTube, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
Man, it's been good.
Great minds think alike.
Yeah, it's been good thus far, man. I ain't gonna lie. Can't lie about that.
Hey, I only found you when Kulik sent me a thread a couple weeks ago. I've been appreciating every moment.
Man, I appreciate you for coming, man. I appreciate you.
The feeling's mutual, brother. And you too, Red Wolf.
Yeah. I appreciate you too, bro. Yeah.
We're gonna get into some death, man. I'm gonna listen to some death, man. Here in a moment.
Yeah, let's get it. My favorite is Politicians in Their Eyes, which is the one that was playing earlier.
Yeah, I like Politicians in Their Eyes, and I'm gonna play another one I like too, man. I'm probably gonna play like two of them and just just let everybody rock out, man. This is one of them shows you can clean your house to, because we're gonna have a little music, conversation, and everything. Like I said, if I have to throw it away, I have to throw it away. But y'all catch it live, man. Y'all like, share, and subscribe, man, so everybody can enjoy this information, man. And if you got some different information or more information you want to add, call in and let's get it. Let me check the phone line. As a matter of fact, I don't think I checked them in a minute. Ain't nobody really on there, and we about down to the last hour of phone time. So y'all got an hour to call in.
Yeah, we got 25 likes, man. Let's get them likes up, y'all. Y'all up in here.
Yeah, man. Let's get the likes up, man. Let's get the likes up, man. That'll put us in the algorithm with this.
It ain't gonna hurt to do that. It's no big deal.
Hey, next time you gotta argue with some of these ignorant ass folks asking you what we contributed to the culture and what did we do besides be slaves and get told what to do, man. You're gonna have some information to give them. Have them looking crazy, backing down. So we made mention in that last video made mention of a punk group or a proto-punk group out of Detroit, Michigan. 3 brothers, the Hackney brothers out of Detroit, Michigan, which is AKA Rock City. A lot of groups came out of Detroit, man. So, they do call Detroit Rock City. And obviously they call it that for a reason, man. So we're going to check out some of, it's a New York Times celebrity. It's from Draft House Films. And it's basically like a celebrity profile of death. But it has some pretty influential, rockers in here. Now, what was your boy name that did the song, I'm a Liar? What's his name? Tony. What was that name?
Oh, shit.
We're talking about Tony Rollins.
Yeah,
Henry Rollins. Was it Henry Rollins?
I think it was Henry Rollins.
Henry Rollins. Yeah. Henry
Black Flag.
Yeah.
Black Flag. Yeah. I met him a couple times in Washington, D.C. Real cool.
Yeah, I
Black
like
Flag.
that.
Yeah, that's shit. That was man,
Yeah.
I used to be going crazy on that shit, yo.
Yeah, that's how I learned what symbol is no quarters. The black flag means no
I
quarter.
had my
No
bald
quarter
head
given.
and shit.
Hey,
Mhm.
Take us back, Red Wolf. Take us back.
Yeah, man. Let's go. Draft House Films.
I was in it. I was Dab Music. Yo, that's Dab Punk. That's
I
who we
saw
are.
the story in the
shit,
New
like I
York
told y'all
Times.
last
It was
week.
pretty mind-blowing to see it on that scale.
I was just blown away when that article actually came out, and there was like a picture like this big of Rough Francis. I was like, oh my goodness, like we're in the New York Times, like half the page.
I've never heard from so many people. People's parents were saying they saw this, and you know, like I said, my dentist.
I had a buddy, Matt Sweeney, in New York City, and I think he saw an article in the Times or something. So he actually sent me a disc, and I was checking out. I was like, wow, you know, how did I
fucking kid, bro?
I was like, man, this is badass.
And it's just one of those great music stories. It's one of those things that keeps you going to the record store, hoping for another great story like that. It's why you listen to music.
It instantly became a favorite record. You know, it was sort of, it literally popped out of the speakers, and it had an energy to it and a musicianship that sort of blew my mind.
When I got to hearing Politicians in My Eyes, it was like an immediate, like, this is one of the greatest songs I've heard in quite some time. And it really was quite an electrifying recording.
Ramones got all the glory for what this is right here. And this is pretty much the Ramones, but 2 years earlier.
There's no doubt on that record. There's only conviction. There's only full-hearted conviction. And that's really what makes it rock and roll.
When I heard it, I just couldn't believe that I'd never heard it before. It was the predecessor of what punk became, and that was what also compelled me to really want to search them out, no matter how long it took me to find somebody who had a number for these guys.
All right, man. Just a little plug, man, for their documentary. You can actually go find the documentary. It's called a Band Called Death, and they talk about these brothers, man, that actually pioneered punk, or what they call proto-punk. Before punk, there was garage band music, and I think there was groups like the Lil A, which was actually made by black people and then repackaged by the Kingsmen, as the white boys did it.
Right.
But those garage band groups, who else? The Who, groups like that. They kind of inspired these gentlemen to create what we call punk rock.
Right.
Bro, we got our hands in everything.
Everything.
We got our hands in everything. But I think it's time to listen to some Def. What do y'all think?
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's listen to some Def, man.
Let's get it. Let's get it.
Yeah, let's get some Def popping, man. Let's see.
Let's get it.
Let me get to my channel, get to my history. But I already got it pulled up, actually. So you said you like, what song do you like, DJ? ZP, Politicians? Politicians in My Eyes. So yeah, like I said, I may catch the fade on this, man, but I'm gonna let it rock, okay? Probably gonna catch the fade on it. Facebook already kicked me off. It's okay. Their loss. Let's check it out. I'm excited. Let's go. This is Def, ladies and gentlemen.
number one biggest game. It's with the kingdom of fame. It's like a race at the top because they want to be boss. They don't care who they step on as long as they get along. Politicians in my eyes. They can care less about you, they can care less about me. As long as they are in the place that they want to be. They're always wearing for smiles, I can't go with the style. Politicians in my eyes. Always trying to be slick when they tell us that they're responsible for sending young men to die. We have waited so long for someone to come along and correct our country wrong, but the wait's been too long.
All right. Just a quick sample, man. Let y'all hear a little quick sample of Death, man. Y'all go check that out. Politicians in My Eyes. This was 1974. But the group was actually formed in 1971.
Mm-hmm.
And they actually did an album, and they were never picked up by anybody. The album wound up in the attic.
Damn.
Yeah, so the group Rough Francis is the Bobby Jr. That's the son of one of the members of Death. The original lead singer died. The gentleman to the left, he died. But his son, his brother's son, has a punk group out of New Hampshire called Rough Francis.
Mm.
So they were able to, kind of revive this.
And, listening to that chorus there, I'm not a fan of Green Day, nothing like that, but I've heard that album Dookie back in the day. There's a particular song I can't remember now. Sounds very much alike like that. I know Green Day knows who this band is, so they definitely stole and was influenced by them. So I hear it.
Oh yeah, everybody knows who this band is.
Yeah, I like Green Day. I like American Stupid or whatever it's called, Stupid American or whatever.
American Idiot.
American Idiot. American Idiot. Yeah, that's it. American
Yeah,
Idiot. It's the same shit. That's what we're dealing with now. Yeah.
Facts.
This was one that I liked in particular, man. And I'm gonna play a little bit of this as well. But I love the bass line on this. So if y'all notice, I'm a practicing bass guy. I'm trying to learn how to play bass whenever I have time. But I love bass lines, man. And I think this is something that kind of separates punk rock and grunge especially from a lot of other forms of rock, because they tend to be very bass heavy, and a lot of times the bass will play the rhythm of the beat of the music, and the lead guitar then kind of come with the sludge and whatnot. So I love this part. Check this one out. All right, give me a second. Here we go. This is called Where Do We Go From Here?
Got it.
All you timeless children with your predictions and flashbacks, trying to get ahead. What makes you think I can see you? What makes you think I believe you? Dreams, psychopath. Have you heard me lately? We were stepping up wind, shot from the past. All the dreams were flying, all the thoughts were dying. Heard something fast. Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? All you false pretenders and your freaky contenders trying to be the first. In my own opinion, you are not defending. You are the worst. You make the world like a circus and you're trying to curse us. Cruel, you know no bounds. But we wanted to beat us, no, we wanted to cheat us. It's only one time around.
Back to the bass. God damn, man. Man, do you realize I've been listening to this shit like on repeat since last night? Over and over and over and over again.
Yes,
like,
sir.
Man, this is like an early Christmas for me, bro. This is Def, ladies and gentlemen. The first punk rock group.
Yes, sir.
Brothers out of Detroit. Now, like I said, somebody can come with their false information and try to debunk this, kind of like they trying to debunk that Beethoven mama was a hoe getting piped from the Moors. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Poppy Blanco in the building. I ain't got no Henny, man. I gave away my Henny white, man. That shit was nasty. I bought some white Hennessy from when I was on my way back from St. Lucia. I thought it was like exclusive. That shit was gross. Bang out, man. Appreciate you, Joaquin, man. That's from day one. Joaquin in the building. Yo, man, we got a nice crowd in here tonight, man. Y'all go ahead and hit the like button, man. Y'all get into my man Jim Red Wolf channel. Y'all subscribe to him. Also subscribe to Westside Coolik. And we got all type of people. I got the mods in the chat, man. They're putting different links up. Y'all go check out all of these people. This is our village, man. This is our village. Dirty folks, you were right, man. This is one big copyright strike. So we just gonna keep going, fam. I don't see no other choice. We're gonna keep going. Let's keep it up. Let's keep it up, man. So yeah, what do y'all think about Def, man? Let me know what y'all think about this, man, about basically our creation, man. We are the culture. Oh, I'm proud. I'm rocking my American flag. Proud, bro.
All day, every day. Talking to some American Indians right here. This is our every day. I mean, we know country, house music, techno, rock and roll, metal, punk. All is coming from our loins and blood. This is our land. This is our music. This is our art. And this band, I knew about for a while. I'm glad you got this on file now, because Big Mike, I'm gonna say no name, but you know who like to steal shit, whatever. So you put this down here. And people like Jim Red Wolf and Kerry Davis, they've laid the law down and told us this shit too, way back when. Because Weirwo's been doing this since 70s and 80s. He's been putting this information. So I mean, I know he's been there, done that on that. But this is our thing. And I hear when I listen to punk bands, Sex Pistols, when I listen to Green Day, when I hear what's that one band? We mentioned Black Flag, but there's another one I can't think of now. But anyway, when I hear certain choruses and chords, yes, the Ramones, that's it. When I hear these choruses and these chords and these transitions and the tuning of whatever they're tuning in, I hear them, and it's amazing. This is where it came from, us.
Man, y'all think that was amazing? What I'm about to play next is about to blow y'all's mind. It's about to blow y'all's mind, man. Like literally, this almost brought me to tears. This whole system, I mean, this whole situation almost brought me to tears. I'm looking at what Tola put, System of a Down. Yeah. Also, I'm gonna tell you a punk group I really like, man. I like Jane's Addiction.
Okay, I'm with it.
Yeah, I fuck with Jane's Addiction, man. That shit go hard.
Bobby Blanco, what's up, baby?
I got you.
Oh, yeah. I like Sublime too. Sublime was pretty dope too, man. They had a lot of reggae.
I couldn't get with them, man. Them weird drunk drug head white girls a little bit. I couldn't really get with it.
Yeah, man. I won't say. But man, yeah, man. Who else was a good punk band, man? Red Hot Chili Peppers, of course. I think they were kind of going to the punk rock.
Well, Flea will let you know about the history. Flea has always been real about the history, where the shit came from. They did a couple songs with Parliament. Well, I shouldn't say Parliament, George Clinton, and so Bootsy, so they know.
Yeah, they know what time it is. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, this next one, man, is a special treat, man. But I'm gonna start, of course, with the video, because this is the woman of
Muse.
the evening.
Yeah, Tola Muse.
This is the muse of the evening. Yes. I'm sorry. This is the woman of the evening. So I'm excited to let y'all see this, man. I think y'all are gonna be like, damn, man, I had no idea. I happen to be a huge fan of grunge music. I'm a fan of grunge rock. Nirvana, I think that was probably one of the groups that defined my coming of age years. I mean, Kurt Cobain killed himself when I was probably about 14 or 15. So, you know, that was our coming of age time, man. It was just, you know, teen smells like Teen Spirit, man. Come as you are. I mean, never mind. I'm sorry. In
Damn.
Bloom. You know what I mean? Just, you know, I love Nirvana all the way.
Pearl Jam. What about Pearl Jam?
I wasn't a big Pearl Jam fan, man. I was Nirvana, Soundgarden, and some Alice in Chains.
Got it.
Yeah, some Alice in Chains, man. But I was mainly Soundgarden and Nirvana because I just loved the sound, especially Soundgarden. They had a great sound.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, the guy that was in this group that we're going to talk about, which is a group called Bam Bam that was led by Tina Bell, the guy that was the drummer was actually the drummer for Soundgarden at a point in time. So, you know, these dudes are telling you exactly what it is, man. They're telling you what it is. So we're gonna do this here.
And Tola said Hole and Lenny Kravitz. Yeah, he spit a game, Tola. Real shit.
Hey man, Lenny Kravitz is a beast.
The beast.
I'm gonna tell you, when you start talking about that guitar, man, I mean, look, not only do we have people like B.B. King, Bo Diddley.
Oh, hell yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, Chuck Berry, Lenny Kravitz.
Oh, yeah.
Prince. Niggas sleeping, man. You sleeping on Prince, bro. Bootsy Collins. Sugarfoot.
Damn.
Ernie Isley. And
Damn.
I didn't even mention the Isley brothers, man. The Isley brothers been rocking for 50, 60 years. I think the Isley brothers been making hits since the 50s.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, Big Mike. I'm about to lay one down. I know Red Wolf knows this dude, and they don't talk about this guy. I'm about to lay one down. Y'all ready?
Yeah, let's go.
Eddie Hazel.
Eddie Hazel. That name sounds familiar. From where?
Parliament Funkadelic.
Parliament. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
If you listen to his solo albums, you want to talk about metal and shit like that, man. Shit.
Yeah, I can see that. Man, Parliament Funkadelic, man, was just, I mean, come on, man. That's some of the best music ever created. Some of the best music ever created. George Clinton is a genius. Yes, Jalen Breezy, I've been very passionate about music. I actually consider myself a music dude, man. I was a rapper, man. I try to pluck around and play and do beats and stuff. I've always been into music. Jazz is my favorite.
Y'all know Sex Pistols put the motherfuckers really out there.
Sex Pistols?
Yeah, they put it out there.
Yeah, and that's because Sid Vicious was doing stuff like eating feces on stage.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, that's their shit. I mean, you know, they wanted.
Yeah, he killed his girlfriend and Sid and Nancy. I think y'all hear the story about Sid and Nancy. He stabbed her to death, you know, on drugs. I mean, it was just a tragic story. And I think that's what you find with like the Nirvanas and people like this. But the real tragedy is the people that pioneered this shit and were never even given credit and forgotten about. You really can't profit off of something that you didn't create.
Exactly.
Not for a long time. That's what people need to realize. Let's put.
Also, there's the Central Intelligence Agency connection with all of the psychedelics being released into the general public in the 60s,
right? No, that's
70s as a consequence of this movement.
Those are facts.
In order to get everybody back to work for massa.
Those
Apologies,
are facts,
brother. My phone is tripping out.
Nah, man, it's all good, man. We glad you're sticking in here with us. Like I say, this conversation is so important, man, that it had to be had regardless. You know, if the internet would have went all the way out, you know, we still would have had to have this. Hey, Little Richard was the handler. Yeah, man, Little Richard, man. James Brown. I mean, we could just go down. I mean, who else?
Okay, what's the dude that did the song I Put a Spell on You? Had the damn.
What was his name? Hollering.
Oh yeah. That shit.
Hold on, man. Hold on.
I put a spell on you. That shit. What's his name? Hold on.
I'm looking it up now.
Okay. You might find it for. I'm doing this here. Damn, I can't find it. He had the bone through his nose, remember?
Screaming Jay Hawkins.
That's him. That's him.
Screaming Jay Hawkins.
Yeah,
I'm gonna play a little bit of it.
Yes,
The
sir.
man I was talking about has a great blues style. Plus,
Can you hear
one
that?
of the wildest
Yeah.
gimmicks I've ever heard. It may not scare you, but I guarantee you, when he's performing, you won't be going to the refrigerator.
Bad brains.
Debut with us to sing "I Put a Spell on You," Screaming Jay Hawkins.
Oh,
Hey, the founder of horrorcore, actually, Screaming Jay Hawkins was considered the founder of horrorcore music.
Facts.
Rock music, like Ozzy Osbourne biting off bat heads and shit.
Yes,
This is where
sir.
this came from.
Yes, sir. Alice Cooper and all that. Yes,
Facts.
sir.
Yep,
This is
Alice
where it
Cooper,
came
all
from.
of them. Yeah. Yeah.
That's a damn fool, boy.
That voodoo.
Uh-huh.
I put a spell on you. Because you're mine. Stop the things you do. What out? I ain't lying. Yeah! I can't stand. Woo! No running around. I can't stand. No put me down. I put the spell on you. Because you're mine. Wow, yeah.
Yes, sir.
How many women out here saying that to they dude right now?
Damn.
Oogly, oogly, boogly, boogly, the boogeyman.
Don't eat that spaghetti.
Or the pork chops.
Right. Red sauce.
Look at that.
Well, world class, you can't say that now. You've seen them in the day.
I also see a vampire in Brooklyn, the Oogie Boogie Man from
I don't tell if you don't want to.
Nightmare Before Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, shit, Savannah. Spaghetti. Hey, everything ours, man. Y'all can disrespect, y'all can do all that shit, but this is us. Without us, y'all ain't shit. Real walking talking.
Jalen Breezy, now don't be playing this song now. Like, look. Hey, it'll get in your skin.
Hey, I'm gonna ride down the most woodest part of this neighborhood and play that shit loud as hell.
Oh yeah, because you.
I'll put my skull out the window.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Shout out to black music, man. Man, come on, man. Where would America be, my nigga, if they did? If we just left it up to y'all to bring your mariachi shit, we left it up to the white folks to have they shit, where would we be, man?
Uh-huh. Real walkie-talkie.
Where would we be, man? Come on, man.
It wouldn't be shit.
It's not even the best part. This was actually a sidebar. Because the best part to me is coming up. It's about to bring tears to my eyes. I ain't trying to cry on live, my nigga.
Nah, man, cry. Shit, you know what it is?
Yeah,
All this
man.
disrespect these motherfuckers do, man.
Yeah,
And
man.
I want to make this point too. They want to sit here and say the screaming thing is a white thing too. We've been screaming and utilizing our vocal cords and our if you will, diaphragm and producing these tones and these screams and this distortion within our vocal cords for a long time before rock and roll, before Pantera, before Sepultura, before Judas Priest and all. I can make Motley Crue and everything. We've been doing this. They get all that shit from us.
What was the
James
dude?
Brown? Yeah,
what was the dude?
But you know what I like? I remember in high school was the Ramones.
Yeah.
The Ramones, remember them?
Yeah. Yeah, that was the Joey Ramone saying, or Joey Ramone's brother saying he had to find death. That was him on the last little video.
Facts. But now you say you listen to rock and roll or metal. You trying to
Like
be white.
some of the newer shit, like Viagra Boys. That's kind of goofy shit.
Right.
Yeah, man, I ain't listening to no Viagra.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, we got a few minutes left on the phone line, man. Anybody want to call in? If not, we're going to continue on because we want to start talking about the lady of the evening this evening. Man, we got Combo and Chill with Tommy V in the building.
What's up, man?
Tommy, you missed a hell of a show so far, man. You're going to have to catch this on the replay. I know you out in your truck, man. You're going to have to catch this show on the replay, man. We got some music for you and everything, brother.
Facts.
Hey, man, TO1 said, we vocalize real pain and triumph and spiritual truth. Absolutely, brother. Shout out. Perfect. Let's go. CBS Morning, and this is for fair use.
I can see the sun is coming on, facing opposition from at night.
This is Seattle's way of righting a musical wrong. It's a tribute concert put on to remember an almost rock star whose voice was silenced years ago, but whose music is as alive as ever.
Her voice was super powerful. She could sing on top of a super loud guitar-based rock band, which is not an easy feat.
She was the only beautiful black goddess who
My bad, I had the echo going.
did, and that's why she should be remembered.
You probably haven't heard of the late Tina Bell. She was the fierce frontwoman of the band you probably also haven't heard of, Bam Bam, back in the early 80s. They were making music around the same time as grunge pioneers like Alice in Chains, the Melvins, even the early days of Nirvana.
That's a lie because Alice in Chains wasn't formed until 1987.
Boom.
What we're going to listen to tonight is a demo tape from 1984. So just keep that in mind.
And yet, in almost every telling of that vibrant Seattle scene, Tina Bell and Bam Bam get barely a whisper.
How rare was it for a woman of color to be fronting a punk band then?
Tina was probably the only one in this city.
The only one?
Yeah.
Terry Morgan is a music promoter who used to book Bam Bam back in the day, back when what became the Seattle Sound was just beginning to brew.
Did she influence?
And guess who else was from Seattle?
The foundational artists for grunge?
Jimi Hendrix.
Yes, sir.
And you hear a lot of that Seattle sound in Jimi Hendrix. I'm gonna tell you with
That's
the
right.
punk rock.
Yep.
It's a song Jimi Hendrix did that's actually one of my favorite. I definitely can't play that, but called Machine Gun.
Mm-hmm.
You go listen to that. You know what I'm saying? That quick. Like the what was that? What would that be considered a power chord?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, power chord. I hadn't heard that.
Only time I went to Seattle, Washington was to visit Bruce Lee's grave. That's it.
Yeah, man. Jimi Hendrix and Jimi Hendrix played for the Isley Brothers. I don't know if anybody knew that. Ernie Isley played with Jimi Hendrix and Elton John.
Yeah, but Isley.
The Isley Brothers had Jimi Hendrix and Elton John in their band. So look, don't ever disrespect the look down on a player like Ron Isley, brother. Never. And that guitar playing wasn't no joke.
Mr. Big.
Yeah, Mr. Big. But Ernie Isley wasn't no joke on a guitar.
Grunge, is that going too far?
You know, I would say yes, they did influence the grunge scene because they did it before anybody else.
I love the music.
You won't get an argument from Matt Cameron, one of Bam Bam's first drummers.
Bam Bam, I thought, always fit in really, really well with that kind of early formation of what became, the Seattle rock revolution.
If anyone should know that, it's Cameron, who went on to become a Grammy Award-winning drummer with Soundgarden.
One of the best grunge.
Soundgarden was bomb. I like
was good.
Soundgarden.
Soundgarden had a great sound, absolutely.
And Pearl Jam.
Pearl Jam. I still rock to them.
Does it make you angry?
Yes. Are you kidding me?
Bam Bam's bassist, Scotty Ledgerwood, says the lack of recognition hurt everyone in the band, but especially Bell.
You think it sort of ate away at her?
It literally did. They were afraid that America wasn't ready for a black girl to front a hard band. She's supposed to be a hip hop or a diva queen. She can't be up there, so fierce and beautiful like that. But she was.
This is how I remember
I'm subscribing to all these channels. Y'all better be putting on some good stuff.
TJ Martin, who followed his mom into the public eye, winning an Oscar as a documentary filmmaker.
It's kind of incredible to think that a black woman leading a punk band is still an anomaly at this day and age.
He remembers his mom as a woman who never really talked about sexism or racism, except in her songs.
Faced with opposition from mankind.
Tina Bell eventually walked away from her band and her music. She died unexpectedly in 2012. And by then, she'd been forgotten by almost everyone.
Retracted from the world, became kind of a recluse, very much stuck to herself.
Now there is people taking a second look, right?
It's people taking a second look, but history's already kind of been written, right? And history gets written by the victors.
This is the soundtrack to my life.
And yet, just this past summer, fans lined up at the Central Saloon, the same Seattle bar Tina Bell used to play all those years ago.
Oh yeah, I was a disciple.
Om Jahari first saw Tina Bell as a teenager. She went on to lead bands herself, in part because of the fierce impression that Tina Bell had left behind.
Her performance on stage was just that much more powerful because she definitely commanded a room of predominantly white spectators.
I don't believe what you say.
Filling in for Bell at that tribute concert, she says, felt like it validated Bam Bam's place in history.
Opened up the mosh pit.
So what do you say to critics, though, who say, yeah, they were a good band, they maybe even liked them, but they don't think that they were necessarily fans of grunge?
I would say,
I
think she had a hand in forming that sound. Absolutely.
She may not have gotten a record deal back in the 80s, but got one now. An album of Bam Bam's remastered music is expected to drop later this fall. Social media is all abuzz about it, even if it's decades too late.
Here's this woman who kind of broke down some barriers, whether she was conscious of it or not, that has now had a ripple effect in inspiring people in 2021.
That's the power of music in the end. Be able to reach back through the past and in the process, find where it speaks to the present as well. For CBS Mornings, I'm Lee Count in Seattle.
I was in.
Man, Tina Bell.
Yes.
Tina Bell, man, the great Tina Bell, man. And I'm about to let y'all hear it, man. Y'all think y'all heard something. Y'all ain't heard nothing. When I tell you, like I said, this genre of music in particular impacts me because this was my coming of age during grunge. Like I said, Nirvana, love Kurt Cobain, love Nirvana. Don't say shit bad about it.
Shit. Nirvana, boy.
Them motherfuckers are it, bro.
Hey, that was my shit. I rock him all the time, man.
Hey, I still rock on the way to work, man, when I'm ready to have that high energy morning. You know what I'm saying?
Team spirit, all that shit, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's the hey Big Man? What's this song? Nirvana did is it I Don't Care? You know what I'm talking about?
Which one?
Oh,
Yeah, they got one called I Don't Care.
Okay, yeah. That's one of my
Yeah,
favorites.
yeah. No, he got some good shit, man. I fucking all like it. Yeah.
I like that Stay Away, that doo 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 doo. Like, look, man, I wonder if I can get away with just playing the beginning of it, man. Like the beginning.
I like that. Come as you are.
Hey,
Come as you are.
Yeah.
Oh, that's my shit.
Hey, man, just the beginning of this song.
That's my shit.
From
Yeah,
Nirvana,
that's my
man.
shit.
Is, like, look, man.
That's my shit.
I'm gonna let y'all check just the beginning out, just the quick beginning.
Yeah. I'm good with that shit. Hey, Wes, you know how I move, right?
Yeah, damn.
Oh, shit.
Oh shit. Yeah.
All right.
Y'all need to repost this video. Y'all need to repost it.
Hey, look, man.
Y'all need to repost this video right now. Come on, y'all.
Y'all repost this video.
It need to be 10,000 people up here, real walkie-talkie.
Hey, the Beastie Boys sung Sabotage, and the Beastie Boys did kind of go grunge. They were always kind of punk, rock, and rap. Anyway, that was kind of the fusion between punk, rock, and rap was the Beastie Boys, man. Love the Beastie Boys.
Yeah.
Love the Beastie Boys.
See how, Noble just said something. What up, Noble? But see how happy we are? Ain't no immigrants up in here fucking up the energy with their weird ass shit. It's American attack the Indians up here talking about our culture. We happy, we good. We ain't got no weird sneaking immigrants in here clogging it, looking jealous, looking crazy with the side eye. We doing us talking about our people and bloodline.
Hey, we ain't got the niggas talking about, are you impressed? Are you impressed? What's 2 plus 2? What's 2 plus 2? Are you impressed? Fuck up.
Right. Them new niggas.
Hoe ass niggas.
Right.
Look, man, y'all niggas can't ever come with no damn content like this. Y'all know that? All y'all do is complain about women in the world. Y'all are the victims. Y'all are the victim Olympics. You are winning, sir. You niggas are winning and learning. Hey, man, look, man, I'm finna get into this. And y'all go to this website, buttoxproductions.com/Tina Bell /Tina hyphen Bell. But I want to show y'all this, man, because y'all are in for a treat, man. For those of you who are grunge fans, a lot of people may not understand this, but grunge fans, we started becoming exposed to grunge rock probably 89, 90. I would say 90 for us in Alabama. It took a while to reach from Seattle all the way over.
Just lock it on the way out, bro.
But probably about 90 was when we started hearing grunge rap. Grunge rock.
I got a friend walking over there to open the door, bro.
And that was in the form of Nirvana. Nirvana introduced it to the rest of the world, but these are the people who introduced it to Nirvana.
Mm-hmm.
This is 1984, and of course you see right down here, this is the actual where they play the music. It says Bam Bam, I'm Dead, demo, 1984. Alice in Chains was formed in 1987, so no, they were not. They were contemporaries of Alice in Chains, but they had been around first.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna listen to this first song called I'm Dead. I might let all three of these shits rock. I don't know yet. Let me pause it because let me mute this screen because I don't want any distortion in this, man. Y'all have to hear this music. So without further ado, this is Tina Bell, the late great Tina Bell, and Bam Bam, 1984 demo. I'm Dead.
just another Beethoven. I'm dead. I'm dead. Go up in the door and keep over and over and over your life. Don't worry. Work is not here. The agony of my dream lies well too deep inside of me, and I'm crazy. And all of it feels I'm dead. I'm dead.
All right, Jalen Breezy, chill out. Come on, Papa. Come on, Papa. Come on. Come on.
Look for the door.
Just look.
I'm dead.
Come on, Papa. Oh, you want your treat?
This is words on the cheap is a time. Too many words on the sweet to jive. Don't only satisfy my mind. I need it all to keep me happy. Oh God, give it to me. Oh, so much more. This is words on the cheap is a time. Too many words on the brick of my mind. I swear to God, you look so fine. I'll give you all to keep you happy. Oh God, just to see. I'll give you all to keep you happy. Oh God, just to see. This is words on the cheapest time. Too many words on the sweetest time. Don't satisfy my mind. I need all
Man, come on, man. Come on, man.
That she fire, yo. I'm just listening to her jazz, man.
Fire.
You like that, bro?
Fire. Fire.
Yeah.
For those of you who aren't familiar with grunge music, this is it, bro. That was it. If that was 1984, that was it. Damn, man, I enjoyed this show.
And you can feel it. You can feel it. I mean, like, you know what I'm saying? You can feel it.
Yeah, man, I enjoyed this show tonight, man. I'm glad y'all fellas came up here with me, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we're gonna start going around for last thoughts, man.
Hey, Mike. Hey, Big Mike. Let me say this to everybody. A lot of people don't know, like, when I was in, check this out. Like New York, New Jersey, might go to Delaware, Philly. Hip hop, we sampled everything.
Right.
It wasn't about, we was creating something, but we sampled everything.
Facts. Dirty. I said Taylor's Dirty said Mike is having an epic 8-hour stream with 3 minutes of usable content. I bought some licenses for some of this shit, bro. I spent money to bring this to y'all so we could get it going.
Yeah, you could. You Blick. There's different there's different platforms you can do it, y'all.
Yeah, man. I spent money to bring this to y'all, man, to make sure that it stays preserved. If not, I still got it. And this might go on a Patreon. I still got the recording in all of its glory. Jalen Breezy said, why did all the rock stars die from alcoholism and drugs? Because that's what rock stars do, baby.
And then why did they flood?
Fast and hard.
Yeah, fast and hard. And why they flood all of our different territories and states and transported different people from here to here within America.
The same reason Kurt Cobain was killed is the same reason Biggie Smalls was killed and Tupac. When you put those deletes on blast, their little utopia on blast.
Well, check this out, ZP. You had Kurt Cobain, Eazy-E, Tupac, and Biggie. Year by year by year, dead. Think about that.
Yeah, all the big names in.
And some of them, hey, I want y'all to understand this. Some of those ritualistic killings, that shit's real.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sacrifices are real, y'all.
You know, the pentacle is always.
Well, let's look at something called the 27 Club. Have y'all heard of the 27?
Are y'all aware? Punk rock wasn't even involved in loose. Wait, hold on. Let me say this. Yeah. Luciferian and Satanism wasn't even part of it at first.
No, absolutely.
They were real spiritual people.
Yeah, absolutely. Even if you see Sister Rosetta Tharpe, rock started out as gospel music.
Yeah, there you go.
Now it was that damn blues that started out with the devil at the crossroads, right?
Exactly. But you know who pushed it? The producers. No, that's the producers, the people behind it. They wanted to grasp another.
Yeah.
And they
tap into them frequencies. And we might have a whole show about frequencies one night. For those who don't know, Westside Kulik, I don't mean to put you on the spot. Westside Kulik is an audio engineer.
Yes, sir.
So Westside Kulik understands about frequencies and the way these things are used to make music better, to make music penetrate a little bit deeper. Get into that emotional, that cortex, what is the neocortex or whatever music affects. I don't know. I'm trying to act like I know something. I don't know shit.
You know, just like I was saying, you know, with this devil thing, there's different energies and polarities. I'm not trying to offend nobody, but again, like I was saying, the woman is a devil and the man is a god. There's different polarities. So once the man dug deep and got into the demonic, satanic realm of that, he became even more powerful. So we need our women, and our women need us. You know, real walkie-talkie. So once we can, you know, put the pieces together and go back to how we used to do, we're gonna be all right. But yeah, these frequencies on these songs nowadays are they're synthetic too. It's not even a real demonic pitch, if you will. They're using synthetic things to even use sound warfare against you. It's not even real demonic tone, if you understand what I'm saying. So it's crazy out here.
Yeah, they created
sound. What was they did with Jimi Hendrix and Prince when they saw that they played at that 40?
Yeah, 432.
And they wanted to change that. They didn't want that music out there because it was
right.
432. Right.
432. And they do tests on it. They did that thing with the water, and they played basically with the water. They played that tone and that frequency or whatever, and they noticed one water got molded more quicker than the other one. It's like, what's that about?
I saw yours, right?
Yeah.
See this right here?
Hey, man, we got dirty folks in the building. What up, Dirty?
That's a low frequency. That disrupts.
Yes.
It disrupts.
Yes.
I just wanted to say, man, man, that this was some powerful content right here, bro. Your hate was almost probably as strong as mine with these goddamn Haitians and Puerto Ricans. Your hate equaled my hate, and I just had to congratulate you, sir. This is definitely Patreon content.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you for joining. Yeah, man. Are you a rock fan?
Kind of, sort of, a little bit. I'm in Chicago, bro. So we deep house. So we did the rock, the disco, the hip house, like all that P-Funk. We used to dance all that. We'll go from Stevie Wonder to Bootsy Collins.
Hip hop is rock.
Yeah.
Hip hop is rock.
So to an extent.
Yeah.
I mean, with the samples and the break beats to an extent. So, us being in Chicago, man, we was just always throwback cats. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers would throw some Jefferson Airplane in there. You'd be like, yeah, Jefferson Airplane.
Hey, man, boy, y'all don't know about that White Rabbit.
That's good shit.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's that want somebody to love. Do you want somebody? That was us. That was
Oh, yeah. Hey, and I'm going to tell you, Jefferson Airplane became Jefferson Starship.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
And did the soundtrack to Mannequin. You remember that?
Okay, as a matter of fact, the song you said, what song you say just when I say Jefferson Airplane, what song did you say?
White Rabbit.
White Rabbit. White Rabbit was the song that inspired Alice in Wonderland. That was Jefferson Airplane. Want Somebody to Love was just Jefferson Starship. You're absolutely right. It's the same group, two different names. So I guess they had label problems or whatever.
The lady Grace Slick was her name. She had a dope ass name, Grace Slick. That was the singer of the Jefferson Airplane and Jefferson Starship. Let's see,
they went hard.
Man, we got Born King 1984 in the building. What's going on with your family?
What's good? What's good?
Hey, what's good? What's good? Uh-oh, you hear us, brother? Kind of buffering a little bit.
Shit.
Buffering. I think it's
Shit, what's happening with y'all, man? It's a good subject y'all speaking on.
What's happening, brother? I'm sorry. Say it again. Kind of a lag on there.
No, I said it's a good subject y'all speaking on, man.
I thought this nigga had telephone. You know how telephone.
It's a good subject y'all speaking on.
Man, appreciate it, man. Appreciate it, man. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on it, man? I mean, was this information that you were privy to, or is this something that you're just finding out like most of us?
No, I've been on this. Matter of fact, I've been telling people this way before the FBA movement started. And sometimes it kind of led into arguments and people trying to move the goalposts when I started bringing out facts about this information. So, but it's good to see that the stuff that I've been telling, even though I've been catching flack, is getting put out there in the middle. So yeah, I've been real privy to this, especially when it comes down to the hip hop culture. But I think a lot of foreigners is starting to get mad that we starting to embrace the fact that we do have a culture. And we starting to stand up because they was used to us just being passive and not having no knowledge of the culture and telling us we have no culture and building a superior mindset off that because they feel they didn't know. But in all reality, we starting to realize that, oh, my bad. So in all reality, they really wasn't fully educated by the history of America themselves. So they don't really know that we have a culture because they not educated to understand that we have a culture. So So now you got a gang of people that really don't know nothing about you, speaking on the politics of the country that you live in your culture, and they don't even know about it. They just have the superiority because they come from another country, and they've been told by you know who that we don't have no culture, and they basically selling us out the best way they can. So, like I said, man, it's about time. It's at the right time due to the fact that we got internet, we got YouTube, social media platforms, and people that's willing to put that out there. So I think it's just happening at the right time in the right place. And I lay my plane on that one.
Nah, man, absolutely, man. I appreciate you on that. That's good stuff. That's good stuff, and he's absolutely right.
Definitely.
I don't. Can I push back on that, Big Mike, if you don't mind?
Go ahead.
I understand where you're coming from. I agree with his energy, but I don't agree that they don't think that we had culture. I think that they think that we scared of girls and we hide behind skirts, because Generation X is the only ones who ever said fuck the establishment. So, and when you look at who's pushing out this content of who we are, whether it's about being Native American, whether it's about who invented rap, it's always Generation X, because all the culture that was created, like we come from a position that everything skips steps, because strong men create good times that create weak men that create hard times. So when the biggest push went, it was the baby boomers, and baby boomers is cowards, but just in general. I love my parents, but I mean, yeah.
Hey,
so
now, Dirty, I'll say this: some of these people in these rock groups that we were talking about, these punk rock groups talking out against the establishment, are baby boomers.
I know they were. Have you seen them now? One of the things you guys said was they were heavy into drugs because drugs was part of the culture. They the drug user culture. We the drug seller culture. So, and those were the culture that turned against their own kids and created the crime bills and all that shit, while at the same time trying to fix everybody box Chevys in the alley because they were the only craftsmen. They were the first generation that didn't pass on the trade. They passed on the hustle. Generation X hustle like a motherfucker, but they didn't pass on the trade. Every other generation passed on the hustle and the craftsmanship. They the first generation to pass on the hustle, but no craftsmanship. Like, figure it out. Put this key around your neck at 6 years old and walk to school. Figure out life.
I'll challenge you real quick on this, because now if we see the new culture, they're back to being the drug users. So who dropped the ball on that? Would that be us?
To a certain extent. However, I'm gonna say this: when it comes to the culture, this culture is in a loop. That's why I say colors have arrested development, because even though they've modified rap, you just did a whole fucking 6-hour stream, bro. Every 25 to 30 years, it's supposed to be an entirely new musical genre, entirely new. And they're still wearing the same Jordans we wore. They still doing the same rap. They still moving the same way as we did in the late 80s, all the way from late 80s to the mid 2000s, which was our time. So now they stuck in a loop because men create culture. I don't care what these toddlers say. Men create culture. So a man has to push you. You have to have an example in order to push against, because as an adolescent, you're a natural rebel. Naturally, you're rebellious, and you push against that. Like, I don't want to hear my daddy's music, while your daddy's saying I don't want to hear that boom boom bap stuff, and then you create something totally different.
Call in, Tyler.
Oh, hold on. Tyler Akins says that Def did not invent punk. They basically emulated the MC5. But if I'm not mistaken, the MC5 was considered a garage band, sir. So call in. The link is at the top of the chat. But yeah, go ahead, bro.
No, that piece was hot piece, and I think there's a lot of, like in Chicago, we had Little Lewis. Little Lewis was the king of deep house music. We had Little Lewis. We had Frankie Knuckles. We had a bunch of dudes. I was 16 years old, getting in 21 and older clubs, but they wouldn't let me drink. But they knew we was young, but they just wouldn't let us drink. But they knew we wanted to be there for the ambiance, the atmosphere. We wanted to dance. I was damn near 30 before I figured out all the great DJs that Chicago had from the late 70s to the early 90s was gay. I didn't even know it's a gay thing, because it wasn't a gay culture, it was a party culture.
That's kind of where we're running into issues with that community right now, is because they're trying to go back retroactively and scoop up people that had alternative sexualities, when that's really wasn't what. And it's similar to what the Jamaicans are doing going back saying, "Oh, we Jamaican, we invented hip hop," but really nobody was, they weren't leading with their sexuality then, just like those Caribbean and Puerto Rican immigrants weren't leading with their Caribbean and Puerto Rican status in the early days of rap.
Okay, so here's where we'll disagree. But I agree with you. But this is what I always say. Baby boomers were gay, but they called it androgynous. We were definitely leading with androgynous at that time, but we didn't know that they were gay. However, if the LGBT community said that they invented disco, I would have to consider it. I don't have to have any consideration for these Haitians and these Puerto Ricans talking about they invented rap. But if the gays said, yo, Studio 54, that was us. Cotton Club, that was us. I have to be like, yeah, maybe.
I can't say it was them because there wasn't a them at the time.
There wasn't a community at that time.
That was just something motherfuckers was doing. Motherfuckers was swinging both ways and doing whatever they were doing sexually, but there was no them at that time. So I don't see how they can go back retroactively and say it was us.
I agree with you.
We can go back and say it's us that created XYZ.
No, I agree with you, but at the same time, and I'm not even taking up for them. I'm just saying, like we used to call it light skinned nigga shit. Remember, we like call it light skinned nigga shit, but it was really gay shit. But I'm not saying light skinned people gay. Shout out to Westside Cooley. I'm just saying that we used to call it light skinned nigga shit.
Well, my grandmama and them used to say.
But it's crazy though.
Go ahead, bro.
It's like you basically giving them participation awards, because at the same time, just because you was at Studio 54 and all these places doesn't mean you didn't invent the music genre. You were just a supporter of it. You were just in that culture. So you can't really say that, because now you got to start giving us a foundational explanation on why you did it. Hence to what Big Mike said. All these people, like when they say about hip hop, because they was in New York and they was there, they supposed to help me invent it. But now you even got the Puerto Rican cats, the first 4 Puerto Rican DJs, I'm actually say 5, that actually came out and said that Puerto Ricans was not messing with hip hop at all. They wasn't even dealing with it. Matter of fact, Grand Wizard Theodore even said that he had to punch out Puerto Ricans just for pressing him for hanging out with Grandmaster Cash. So they'll even tell you that. But because you saw a Puerto Rican up and down the block, or you saw him in the club, doesn't mean he invented hip hop. He was just a supporter of the culture. He just wanted to get into it. Like if you look up this dude named Trixie, he was supposed to be the right hand man to Kool Herc. He even confirmed that Puerto Ricans wasn't even into hip hop then. They barely went to their clubs. They stole a lot of moves from them. They stole their voices. They stole some of their songs. They stole some of their swagger, and they completely copied off it and act like it was them. But in reality, it was us. And then they try to say that the Afro Puerto Ricans and all this other type of stuff. But when you look at these people, they sound like us, they rap like us, they talk like us, they be like us, and they do everything like us. But when it's time to really face the problems of being us, that's when they start pulling that, no, I'm Puerto Rican card, I'm not none of this, or whatever the case may be.
Okay.
So you can't, just because they was there and they support doesn't mean they invented it.
Oh, okay. Check this out. We having 2 different conversations, and the conversation you having, I'm with you, my G. I'll pull pistols to defend what you just said. I promise. I was saying that if the LGBT community has never said this, but I'm saying if they did, I would give them consideration. If the Jews said that they had a hand in it, in the distribution and the getting it out to the public, I would say, all right, the Puerto Ricans and the Haitians, fuck no. That's all I'm saying, bro. I'm saying
I would say this. That's why I did the show last week, because I would actually give the Jews credit.
I understand that.
Puerto Ricans credit. I would actually give the Jews and the white boys credit in the creation of hip hop over Puerto Ricans. I promise you I would. It may sound harsh, but I wouldn't be able to take them out of the story. Hey man, shout out to Nate Dogg 74 in the building. Salute to you, man. Oh, hey man, Tola said something that I think we need to get on. And like I said, we kind of open for discussion now, so we can jump back, because now we got 2 different forms of music that we've already proven that come from us, right? But
I can shut down Kool Herc for you. I'm gonna shut down Kool Herc for you. The 2 originators, the 2 Haitian people who claim they originate, depending on who you believe, it's either Kool Herc or African Bambaataa. Both of them Haitian. Both of them claim to be there at the inception. Let me explain to you how Haitians have nothing to do with it. Both of them, I don't know what was going on in the 80s. I don't know what type of field trips these niggas was taking, but both of them were Haitian immigrants, but they didn't get into hip hop until they took a trip to Egypt. So I would even give Egyptians credit for hip hop before Haiti, because even them Haitis had to go to Egypt on a high school field trip to come back and get into DJing.
Now I think Kool Herc was Jamaican though. He's not Haitian.
Either way, bro, they had to go to Egypt on a high school field trip, and then they came back and stopped game banging and started doing music. I don't know what went on in Egypt, but I give Egyptians credit.
Like I said with that, man, like a lot of those guys in New York are mixed heritage. They're mixed with different things. Puerto Rican, Drez from Black Sheep is Puerto Rican and black. Jim Jones, Puerto Rican and black. Q-Tip, his dad is from Montserrat, his mama from Alabama. Fife Dog is folks from Trinidad. I'm not saying that there weren't brothers from the Caribbean that were influential to starting the movement. What I'm saying is they weren't operating in their Caribbeanness when they started the movement, so you can't go back retroactively and say that's Caribbean culture. You were acting out black culture. Just like the white guys and the Jews and the Italians that came to rap. They were acting out black culture.
I agree with that, but let me say this to eloquate your point. When the Fife Dogs and all them came into rap, I remember them when they came out because it was De La Soul, Leaders of the New School, what the fuck Q-Tip group was,
Tribe Called Quest, boy, don't
Tribe Called Quest, Roxanne, Queen Latifah, all of them, right? They were all in the same clique. What was the name of that clique? Native Tongue.
Native Tongue.
They called it Native Tongues. They called it Native Tongue.
Native Tongue had an Egyptian influence. That's why they was all wearing unks. That's why I said I don't know what type of field trip y'all New York niggas was taking in the 80s. Because they all came back yelling Egyptian. They didn't come back yelling Haitian. If we're talking about culture.
Right. No, I'm with you. I got you. Now I'm with you. I'm tracking. Now I understand what you're saying. But that Egyptian connection been there for a long time. And I don't know if y'all ever heard of Sun Ra from Alabama.
Yeah.
He's a jazz artist. Sun Ra invented
Yeah. I heard the dude.
He was from Alabama?
Yeah, he's from Huntsville.
I swear to God, I thought he was from New York. I remember
He's
Sun
from
Ra.
Alabama. Yeah.
Sun Ra from
Yeah.
Alabama.
I swear I thought he was from New York.
Yeah, what he like the George Clinton before George Clinton?
Yeah,
that was kind of like operating on that Afro fusion with the funkness and all that.
Yeah, he invented. He's actually said to be the inventor of Afrofuturism, like taking that fusion of space and African, being you know what I'm saying, African American in space, and kind of putting those two together. The mother.
I need Westside to co-sign that because I thought he was from New York. Westside, where you from?
Hold on, who we talking about?
Sun Ra.
No, I'm the one. I'm from Bronx. I'm from the Bronx.
Yeah. Let Real answer that. Yeah,
in the '60s. I heard a lot what you're talking about, but no, man.
Now, Sun Ra.
I'm part of that generation battling Rock's Crazy Leg and all them niggas. I was Twin City breakdancer, bro. Come on, man.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me go and pull it up now.
I went to the military. I got tired of shooting and getting stabbed and stabbing and all that.
Yeah, that's when y'all niggas had Saturday night specials. Y'all niggas was special. Anyway, but I believe you, bro. I believe he was in Birmingham. I'm just saying I always thought the influence came from New York. That's all I'm saying. I didn't learn that later.
New York niggas ain't on no futuristic shit like that.
I didn't learn it later. The futuristic niggas moved to New York from North Carolina. So really, North Carolina should get a shout out.
North Carolina is one of the starters of hip hop. A lot of the first artists came from Carolinas.
That's what I'm saying. They should get love.
That's Sun Ra.
And I want Red Wolf to correct me on this, but if you look at again this Trail of Tears thing, and I'm gonna come full circle with a thing with the music, but a lot of this shit started out on the West Coast, went to the South, then it came up to the Boogie Bronx. What do you call that bullshit up there? So yeah, all this shit comes from the South and West. Real walkie talkie.
I don't know about the West. Look, the first West Coast rapper I remember is Ice-T in '86 with that 6 in the morning.
I'm not even talking about. I'm talking about some ancient history. I'm going back before we call things blues and rap.
Are you talking about? Okay, I see what you're talking about. I thought it was talking about music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
King T. You got to get King T, for example. You know,
King T, boy, y'all know about King T, man. The
And
funky
King T only motherfucking hot song was with Ice Cube, Played Like a Piano.
Hey,
And
MC
that,
Breed.
and that was my joint. But MC Breed was from Flint, Michigan.
He from Michigan.
Man, no, not King.
And
So
he
like
was
this, bro. If it wasn't for King T, you probably wouldn't hear Biggie style right now.
Thank you very much.
Like
Thank you
Big
very much.
King T
1984.
style was low key.
You right. You right. 1984. You right. That's my point. That's what I'm saying. These
And
East Coast
Big
cats.
style.
That's
you
right.
say if it wasn't for King T, you wouldn't hear who? Who did you say, sir? I can see that.
Exactly.
But here's the thing: if it wasn't for MC Breed, you wouldn't have Dre, because Dre stole MC Breed whole album. It was like, yo, I'm gonna do it West Coast.
Yes.
But I'm gonna tell you who else. It was an MC called MC Thick, and he was from Marrero, New Orleans, and he had a song.
Cruising down the street, real slow. What the fuck is they yelling? Morero. I remember that. The bass line was so hard, bro.
If you
I remember
listen
that.
to that, let me pull it up. But this is Biggie's whole flow, bro. Like a lot of people ain't gonna want to admit it, but this is Biggie's whole flow.
Cruising down. He only had that one song though. Cruising down the street, real slow. What the fuck is they yelling? Morero. We was rocking out in Chicago, bro.
But they shot that nigga 100 times.
Oh, they killed him?
Yeah. They shot that
I
nigga
ain't know.
100 times.
I ain't know, but he was moving big dope. He was right there by the border, man. They was throwing pounds of weed to him for $100 a piece. I remember that shit. But I didn't know he got killed.
He was just in New Orleans. So yeah, this is Biggie's whole style, man. And like I said, look, this show's already a wash at this stage. But
Oh yeah, it's a rap, nigga. You got 3 minutes of content, nigga. This is a rap. You use whole people videos and everything, and I've been here for it, bro. Because bro, this is you pull one out your hat on this one, Mike.
All right, thank you, brother.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Diamond. Talk to me now. Cruising down the street.
This is Biggie.
Real slow. What the fellas be yelling? Morale. Talk to me now. Cruising down the street. Real slow. What the fellas be yelling?
Now sit back and relax so you can hear what I say and realize it's coming from the THICK. I'm like Digger, so give me a smack or smack your back. React back to my attack and get a cardiac arrest. Stop breathing, harder, stop pumping. Rhyme still kicking, crowd still jumping. The dick inside your chest to see what's blocking them arteries. And to find the rhyme that's to pardon me. Lyrical rush, I leave my mouth and disperse. When the arm calls for 7 more, I'll be first, cause I'm smooth, permanent, influential, dominant. Can take a situation good or bad and put a rhyme in it. No need to get ignorant, belligerent, or violent. Cause real bad boys hit hard and move silent. Talk like a whip, laying lashes on your ass, see? Suck the jump stupid, watch the scene get nasty. The things you're trying to do, I done already did. I'm the horror you would dream about when you was a kid. But now you're grown and you're sick, cause you can't defeat this. Don't wanna back down, cause that's a sign of weakness. That's the previous battle, you thought that was the last of me. But now I'm back and I'm causing a catastrophe. Look in my eyes and you're wondering what that flash could be. That's my mind reacting telepathically.
Cruising down the street. Real slow. What the fellas be yelling? Around. Cruising down the street. Real slow. What the fellas be yelling? Around.
Yo, that's Biggie's cadence and style right there.
On Party and Bullshit, maybe.
Yeah, that's Biggie. It's actually a nigga from Mississippi that did the whole Juicy beat.
I could believe it.
Did the whole Juicy beat.
Yeah.
They say Puff took it from him.
Oh, that flamboyant punk nigga. I can't stand that motherfucker.
I fucks with Puff.
They say Puff took it from him.
Let's go. I don't fuck that nigga. Fuck all them niggas, man.
Hey, the hip hop Jim say he just biting off the fat boys. LOL. Yeah, it's definitely a cool rock ski.
Make me want to go back to war and shit.
Yeah. Now, hey man, don't come at me about the fat boys. Y'all want to see something, man?
But you know what? I was a fan of the Fat Boys. Fat Boys had movies and everything. I remember the Fat Boys when I was a kid.
Hey boy, don't play with me now. Hold on now. Let me show y'all something. I'm real with this Fat Boys fandom. What y'all know about that? I just roasted modern Renaissance anyway, so I can wear my coon hat today.
Yeah, no doubt.
Hey, I just love hearing that shit.
Right there, man.
Look, man.
Can't even hear, bro.
You say what?
You playing Fat Boys? We can't hear it.
Oh, I ain't did nothing yet.
But I rock with the Fat Boys. I rock with everybody that was out of Crush Groove, bro.
I'm
gonna tell you the truth, bro. The Roxanne back and forth beef was probably one of the best things that happened to hip hop besides Run DMC with Aerosmith.
Oh man, Public Enemy and Anthrax.
Way later. That was way later. I'm talking like
Shantae and all that.
Yeah, the real Roxanne. Then it was Roxanne. Then it was Roxanne Shantae. It was UTFO.
Yeah.
I remember that shit, bro. That did wonders for rap. That was the bridge when everybody was trying to pump up Curtis Blow, but Curtis Blow really wasn't that cold. And then that was the bridge to get us to like BDP and Rakim and all that. That Roxanne beef, they saved rap, really.
Hey,
yeah, Boogie Down for sure.
Let's go. Let's take this one out. One of my favorite old school. This is my favorite old school group, actually. My favorite.
Oh, you need for three.
Stick 'em. Stick 'em.
Fat Boys.
Stick 'em.
Oh, yeah.
Stick 'em. We're gonna rock the beatbox in the fresh funky rhythm. Now with the mob blowing body rocking D3MC to all the homeboys and the young ladies, we're gonna rock a fist beat with the human beatbox until the sucker MC jump off our top. His DJ name is Grandmaster Doc Knight. We'll repeat it if we have to once or twice. We're gonna take it from the bottom and take it to the top. So check it out, party people. It's the human beatbox. And as we told you before, he is the Grandmaster, the man with the beats and cause a disaster, the man who's on the top, guaranteed to rise from a positive source. It's the human beatbox with familiar watts of power coming out of his mouth, making all the young ladies want to scream and shout. With 1,000 beats for every day of the week, so come a beatbox, play one for me. You know the passion is great, the beats are clear, the people are torn from far and near. Boys with beards, fresh, kicking it live, and we pump at the party from 9 to 5. So if you want a sound that'll fit you to a T, listen to the sounds of the Disco 3 MCs.
Damn, dude probably can eat the fuck out of some food.
Yeah, they were commercial though. Mark Morales.
Oh,
Mark
yeah.
Morales, Prince D, Marky D.
Yeah, Puerto Rican.
Yeah. Mark Morales. They were commercials. Fuck, man.
Man, I love the Fat Boys, boy. That damn Disorderlies, man.
Yeah.
Disorderlies was a stupid ass movie, but it was funny. Here's the thing.
Oh, I'm having a night.
Yeah. Disorderly. That shit was stupid. Yeah, that shit
But low key though, the human beatbox was the Allen Iverson of rap. Like he didn't win shit, but he had the most influence on rap for a minute. Nigga, do you know how many kids was beating on the lunch table at lunchtime, making beats so we could freestyle rap because of human beatbox?
Yeah. Hey man, we had them lunch tables that folded down, and they
Me
had
too.
They had the little the little metal bar underneath there.
Yeah.
If you hit that bar, that bitch sound like an 808, bro.
Yeah, the lunch table they put in the gym room, and they just turned the gym room to a cafeteria for a minute.
The one beatboxing, that was Darren, right? Wasn't the name Darren?
Darren, yeah, the human beatbox. Buffy.
Yeah, Darren. Yeah.
I saw them in concert. My mom
and the other one was Dawson. Yeah. All right. I'm going back to my days in the.
Hey, Nate, I'm glad you said that. Black folks can't take nothing and make it valuable. And that's what I'm telling my people out here, man. When you get these people that try to gaslight you with these arguments and asking you stuff like, what have you contributed to society? You know, these people are going to ask you all these crazy questions, man. Look, No other sector of society has gotten it out the mud. We brought our pragmatism, our blood, sweat, tears. We gave our bodies. We gave our intellect.
Here's the problem with that, Mike. And I said this in a prior show that you had with some dude that said he don't care. And I was like, I really do care about proprietary ownership. This is why I care about it, because of that. You need to be able to trace back and say, yo, these people not only created it, but they owned it.
This is what we're doing. This is what these conversations are starting. This is just like it's like a crack in a glass, man. It's like when a pebble hits a glass and it just makes a little dent right in the glass. But that whole glass is gonna crack as the weather and the temperatures change. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna start cracking. It's gonna form a spider web type of crack. This is what the purpose of this is, to start these conversations so we can start regaining and recapturing what we've perceived to have lost. Really, it's just been hidden from us.
Okay, I'll go with that.
It's been hidden from us, and like I said, we can regain that, man. Just because we lost something doesn't mean it's not ours.
I'm gonna let Westside rock out on that one.
Yeah,
Westside mouthpiece.
Facts.
Man, look, I'm about to shut it down.
Well, I mean,
go ahead. We're gonna go through the last ones. Go ahead, Westside.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to say much respect to chat room. Big Mike, this has been a great broadcast here. We got the, if anything, besides, Big Mike, because this is a show, you got Master Teacher Red Wolf in here. So, you know, all them questions you got referred, I'm telling you, Red Wolf knows, I'm going to say this, Red Wolf, and I hope I don't offend you, but I consider you chief, I mean, real walkie-talkie, man. But, I mean, ask Red Wolf. That's what I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, man, Red Wolf has been an invaluable resource on here.
Good, man. That's all good, bro.
I mean, I think we just need to have somebody here who represents the time, who was there, and your perspective in that aspect is definitely invaluable.
Not only thing I know, but what I get out of this program is, besides the history and us, we got to know that we got to talk about this. We got to put this out there because these people have been very hateful and jealous and ignorant and just weird. We've done all this stuff for them, and now's the time for us to state our claim and show what we got. And they know what we got. That's why they want to basically keep us depressed. They want to keep us angry, killing each other, blah blah blah. And but just show what we got, because we are the, again, makers of all this music, makers of all this, art, all this kind of stuff. The first car, everything. So, yeah,
absolutely. I think Dougie Fresh was from the Bahamas or Barbados, if I'm not mistaken, Tola. Yeah, I know he's from the West Indies.
He was. Bahamas.
Bahamas, yeah. But
let me drop this too. We had a brother that made a comment. We had a brother that made a comment, right? Oh man, what's talking about slaves coming from West Africa? Let me share some with you. There was no West Africa in 1735. We made that. We populated that. All right, Haile Selassie, his pussy ass ran from Ethiopia, which was has a different name, when Italy attacked it. And then Marcus Garvey, all of the Garveyites, all of them pushed this nonsense. And we had a lot of expats, and they went there. I've been there like 20 times, all up and down that west coast of Africa. What amazes me is they know who we are, but why our people don't know who they are.
Right.
We pioneer everything. But y'all want to give it always give it to somewhere else that don't exist. Like, it don't make sense.
Somewhere else that doesn't, that if
y'all gotta raise your game, man.
Yeah, somewhere else that if you go there, you don't see that. That's not what you see. You don't see all of this ingenuity and all of this stuff that they so-called get credit for when you go to these countries. Where did it go? Did they go into a dark ages? What happened? You see what I mean? But you come over here and all of a sudden you got the best country on the planet made off of our backs.
I want to piggyback off Red Wolf. Red Wolf says they know us, we don't know them. And you know why that is, sir? Because we're Americans, and Americans don't know nothing about nobody. We narcissistic as shit. We'll go to somebody else's country and ask why they don't speak English. Like it's their fault that they don't know our language. There's an arrogance to Americans. I'm not saying it's good or bad, but I'm saying that's why America. Here's the thing: you're talking about people who don't really leave a 4-block radius. Do you know how many people I know that go out of town but never been downtown in their own city? So that's part of the problem, bro. But you're right. I'm not taking anything away from what you said. I'm just saying, yo, that's why, because motherfuckers don't give a shit about anything that doesn't have to do with them directly. They don't have any type of
DJ.
proprietary.
Hey man, DJ ZP, he said, how are you gonna ship people on a wooden dinghy with a kite and a hurricane shipping lane? Absolutely, facts. Facts.
Facts.
Man, look, man. Fellas, man, I enjoy y'all for coming on. Unfortunately, I have to get off. But I hope y'all enjoyed the content tonight, man. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Like I said, we put it out there for y'all to take and apply to some of these conversations, these gaslighters that we have out here in these streets, man, in the YouTube streets especially, man. Look, these people are projecting. These people are the victims. When they say the Victim Olympics to you, you might as well just let them know you're a spectator. We just watching the Victim Olympics play out.
Right.
We actually do something to win out here.
Right.
We're not complaining. We're not depending on the welfare system. Y'all are depending on the welfare system. Without the welfare system, y'all go back home. So, hey, let's do it.
Facts.
Hey, man, I appreciate y'all fellas, man, for joining the show this evening.
Well, Big Mike, much respect. Great broadcast here. Like I said, I'm gonna put this out here. Check out Big Mike's channel. Check out Brett channel. And much respect to y'all. We got to keep banging on it. I mean, this is how we doing it.
Yeah, we're gonna keep banging out. Y'all get over to Red Wolf. Y'all subscribe to Jim Red Wolf channel. Also the West Side Coolix channel. Also subscribe to my man, the World Class. And subscribe to my man, Nate Dogg 74, man, the black conservative out there. Man, we appreciate y'all. Hey, fellas, if that's all, man, I think we killed it tonight, man.
You know what I love about all this? There's a movement going on. What Mike's doing, bro, he's bringing awareness of how important you brothers and sisters are and how we need to get back away from all the conditioning, the racist ideology, this, that, and other. Just know your worth.
Yes. That's a perfect way to end it. Know your worth. And that's why we do
You are more powerful than anything.
That's why we do what we do. Certain things these people say out here shouldn't even be dignified with a response.
Hey, DJ, ZPE, man. Hey, fix that damn signal strength, bro.
Yeah, man. DJ ZPE, man. Appreciate you for coming on. Appreciate Dirty Folks for coming on as well.
Come on, man.
Look, man, I think I want to end out.
Love you, bro. Love you, man.
Man, love you too.
Love
bro.
all y'all.
Yeah, you too, brother. And I think I think I want to end out with some with some Tina, man.
Let's do it.
I want to end out with some Tina, man. Let's go one more again. Y'all don't mind, do you?
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go.
Working sun here. If agony around me lies well too deep inside of me, and I'm crazy. And all of it feels I'm dead. I'm dead.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's been the Big Mike Drop. I'm your host, Big Mike. We'll see y'all next time, man. Westside Cool It, Jim Red Wolf, man. I appreciate y'all brothers for joining, man. Let's keep it pushing, man. Let's keep it pushing. 2022, 2023, we got more to come. I appreciate you, man.